It's a Thursday afternoon, and here's what we do on this stream. It's the first of two streams that we offer for you daily. Well, basically daily. I don't know. What are you going to bust balls over that already? Are you already being a problem here? Don't be a problem. We do this show Monday through Friday from noon to whenever. And then we do a second stream. We call that Pugs and Parker. That comes on at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's Monday through Thursday. Pugs and Parker, more conversational, but still current events driven. This one, utilitarian. This is a show that you need to listen to because I get you caught up on all the things that are happening in the world. If people are buzzing about it, if it's a headline, a hot topic, a trend, whatever it is, I cover it here. And a nice little neat-to-eat treat of a show that we like to call High Noon. Hi, Jeff. Jeff is here. Steve's here. Leslie's here. Taran is here. Byron's here. All right, everybody, come on in. Take your seats. Take your seats. I'll wait. I'll have a little sip of coffee. Hey, can we just, for a moment, can we just take a moment and say thank you to, I don't know who's ever in charge of this stuff out there at the home office. This weather that we've had, did you guys go out at all yesterday? I was out yesterday during the day. Weather in heaven. This is the weather in heaven. It was like, yesterday was like 78. It was sunny. It was just perfect. And today seems pretty good too. Although I took the dog out for a walk this morning at like 8:30 and it was cold. It was pretty cold. I went out in a t-shirt and sweatpants to walk the dog this morning. I was freezing. So it's currently 57 degrees. Why are you doing weather? I don't know. That's my co-host. My co-host is a person that I like to call schizophrenic me. He lives in my head, and he has been there my entire life. And anytime I get excited about something, schizophrenic me pops up and goes, "You suck. So that's who he is. And from time to time, he's going to chime in on the show. So just, get used to that. All right. I need a sip of soda, and then we're going to get started. We're going to get started here. By the way, before we start, we also like to mention that this show runs on your gratuities. If you enjoy the show, and if you're in a position to do so, if you're not, if you're struggling, like a lot of us are these days, no harm, no foul. I'm still going to be here for you. I still love you. But if you're one of those people who are blessed and lucky to have a couple extra shekels running around, just toss them there. Toss them in a Venmo. Give me a tip. Tip me like I'm a bartender. That's not that hard. Bartender, car valet, whatever it is. If you enjoy the show and can support it to some degree, only to the degree that you can. And if you can't, hey, I still love you, man. We got to get this together, right? The show ain't going anywhere. We're going to keep pushing through no matter how long it takes to grow this thing, to make... I know, here I go. Look at me, ranting. Don't rant this early. Ladybug alert. Ladybug alert. Hold on, we got a ladybug alert. I told you my house is infested with ladybugs, and I just saw my little co-host. Here's my little co-host. Hold on, I got to unplug this. Here. Would you look at her? Look at her. She's just sitting right there. Can we get in on her? Look at her. You want a little piece of potato? I got a little piece of potato for you. Do you want a little piece of potato? What am I, a ladybug herder? All of a sudden, I'm like obsessed with these ladybugs. All right, here we go. We'll put a little piece of potato right there. There you go, ladybug. See if you want to eat that. She's sitting on the other side. That's going to be a bad camera angle. All right, whatever. So I got to plug this back in. Ugh. All right, we'll check on her from time to time. So speaking of my ladybug infestation, there can be worse infestations. If you're going to have a bug infestation in your house, may as well be ladybugs, right? I'm trying to see if there are any more ladybugs around here. Yeah, there's one on the wall over there. All right, I can see him, her. They can't all be women. I know it's a feminized name, but they can't all be women. Let's see. Oh, so here's my thought. I had two ladybugs on that little side table that I have. I've got a little side table here where I do the show, and two ladybugs showed up, and I was doing some work yesterday evening, and I'm thinking about maybe doing ladybug races, because if you get them going, they get moving. Maybe we can do that. That seems like more of a Pugs and Parker thing where we can do live ladybug races. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to catch a bunch of ladybugs today. And maybe tonight on Pugs and Parker, after we watch the Censored 11 cartoons. That's right, coming up on Pugs and Parker tonight, we're going to watch the Warner Brothers Merry Melodies Looney Tunes cartoons that have been banned because they are just crazy racist, like made in the 1940s, right? With Bugs Bunny being a complete bigot. Anyway, we're going to watch some of those today. That's coming up on Pugs and Parker. Maybe ladybug races, but definitely we'll get into some of the Censored 11. We teased it last night, so I felt I should bring it back up. All right. How are you? How are you? Hi, Hi, Leslie. Hi, Joe. We got all the people coming in. Come on. Should we get into it? Because we got a fun show today. There's a lot of fun things. And when, what determines a fun high noon show? Just stuff that I want to rant about. Just if there is stuff that is trending, that is happening, that I want to really go, that's a good show for me. So I feel like it's going to be a fun show. I'm going to enjoy it, and I hope you do as well. So let's get started, shall we? It is high noon. It is the 19th day of January, year of our Lord, 2023. January 19th is the, say it with me, class, 19th day of the year, school year. Oh, man, what's wrong with me? 19th day of the year. There you go. Oh, that ain't loud enough. Gotta make that a little loud. There you go. Thank you. I like my applause. Thunderous. 346 days remaining until the end of the year. 347 if it's a leap year, and I don't know, is it a leap year? Who cares? The only people who know if it's a leap year are the people whose birthday happens to fall on a leap year. I'm only 8 years old. No, you're not. You're 32. You're not 8 years old. I'm only 8 years. I've only had 8 birthdays. Okay. All right. That's fine. Should we get into what today's about? Here's how we do the show. Yes, the thrust of the show is to get you all prepped up on the stuff that's happening today, this day, the newsworthy events that people are buzzing about. That's what the purpose of the show is. But we also like to give you a full, rounded, well-gazed look at what this day has been throughout history. And throughout history, there's some things that happened on this day. And so that's what we do. We start out with telling you the things that happened on this day in history. Then we talk about the people who had birthdays on this day and the contributions they may or may not have made. Then we go through some of the deaths, some of the people that we've lost on this day in history. And then and only then, as I like to say, once we feel we've got a very, very strong hold on what this day has meant in the past, we move on to the topics of today. So let's get started. On this day in 1829, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, his Faust, the first part of the tragedy, receives its premiere performance. And honestly, I only mentioned that because I wanted to show off that I know how to pronounce his name properly. It's Goethe, okay? It's not Goethe. It's not Goethe. Oh, I really like Johann Goethe. No, you don't. You like Johann Goethe. It's Goethe. I know there's no R in it. I know that it doesn't make any sense, but it's how they said it. In 1861, during the American Civil War, Georgia, this can't be good. Georgia joined South Carolina, Florida, Mississippi, and Bama in declaring secession from the United States. As I like to say on all of these commemorative days of secession, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Let me see. Oh, Ladybug's going to town on the potato. Yeah, I'm your friend, Ladybug. Now, if that was a roach, I'd have crushed it. But it's not. It's a ladybug. I don't hit women, ever. Let's see, I hit the wrong button there. No, the whole script is gone. It's not a script. It's bullet points, right? Okay, so it's not like, obviously it's not a script. Have you ever heard the rants I go on? Bullet points. I lost my place in my bullet points. On this day in 1901, Queen Victoria, Queen of the United Kingdom, is stricken with paralysis. She dies days later at the age of 81 years old, thus bringing an end to what we now refer to as the Victorian Age. The Victorian Age came to a close. On this day in 1937, Howard Hughes sets a new air record by flying from Los Angeles to New York City in 7 hours, 28 minutes, and 25 seconds. It's only interesting because I don't know how much I see Netflix is promoting The Aviator, or maybe it's HBO Max. I don't know, one of those two. It's all of a sudden, it's like, look what we just added. I'm like, that movie's been out for 10 years or 20 years. The Aviator is the Howard Hughes movie. Leonardo DiCaprio. Is it Spielberg? Is the Aviator Spielberg? Who did The Aviator? I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's a good movie, though. And Howard Hughes is a very interesting man. He was the wealthiest man on the planet. He was the Elon Musk of his day. And if you think like, what are these billionaires doing with their rocket ships and their, Richard Branson? Remember when Richard Branson was just like, if it's dangerous, I'll do it. And he was like floating around the world in a balloon. And, then he's like, I'm going to swim the channel. Billionaires or wealthy super guys who don't have to go to the office anymore, like Howard, they always find these like hobbies. Howard Hughes was the Aviator. He was big in planes, but he was also a billionaire. And it's just interesting that, we still see this today with Elon Musk and, Bezos and Virgin and all that stuff, What else would I say about Howard Hughes? Howard Hughes was kind of the Elon Musk of his time, except Howard Hughes was a bangable Elon Musk. That's what Howard Hughes was a legit stud. Like Howard Hughes he was charming and chicks dug him, and he just had Hollywood starlets falling all over him. He was handsome and he was rugged. He was a Texan. Elon Musk is a dork, right? Elon Musk can have all of that. Like Elon Musk, if Elon Musk wants to, get any woman he wants, he would have a very good shot at it. I bet there's not a woman in the world that wouldn't go on a date with Elon Musk. I wouldn't. A date? Really? Really? You wouldn't even just sit and have drinks with this guy? You wouldn't even be interested in what it might be like to have drinks with this guy? Howard Hughes really earned it, though. So Elon Musk is like a nerdy Howard Hughes, I guess. Are there any billionaires that have swag? Are there any billionaires that like aren't dorks? Like Zuckerberg's a dork. Bezos is a dork. Musk is a dork. Branson's not a dork, right? That would be the one. Richard Branson's pretty cool. Richard Branson's kind of a swaggy guy. All right, so maybe Branson is more like Musk or more like Hughes. I don't know. Anyway, on this day, Howard Hughes set a new air record. On this day in 1960, Japan and the United States signed the U.S.-Japan Mutual Security Treaty. What was that? Well, that was sort of after World War II, we took Japan's weapons away. And basically, we were running Japan. MacArthur was over there, and he set up like a provisional government and all that kind of stuff. But in 1960, we made it official. And what did we make official? Here's what we made official. Hey, Japan! If you see anything weird, you tell us. You don't handle it on your own. You tell us, and we'll take care of it for you. And that's what was made official on this day in 1960. On this day in 1977, President Gerald Ford pardons Iva Taguri d'Aquino. Do you know who she is? He pardoned her. Iva Taguri d'Aquino. She was Tokyo Rose. Do you know who Tokyo Rose is? Tokyo Rose was during World War II. She was an English-speaking Japanese broadcaster who, when American ships were within, terrestrial range of Japanese broadcasts and all that, she would broadcast anti-American propaganda. There was a much more, I think. Okay, so I'm fascinated with the story of Tokyo Rose. So I know a little bit about this, and I understand why Ford pardoned her, because the popular perception of what Tokyo Rose is wrong. It was wrong, but she got caught up in the post-World War II propaganda where somebody had to pay for that. And so they went and got her. Now, during Vietnam, there were other types of, just like the Tokyo Rose kind of thing, except they were far more like, hey, Joe, you want to go back to your loser country? It's like that. It was like, really, you will all die in the right. That's what was going on in Vietnam. But Tokyo Rose wasn't that. In fact, this woman, what people don't know about Tokyo Rose is that Tokyo Rose was born and raised in Compton. Tokyo Rose graduated from UCLA. In July of 1941, the woman we call Tokyo Rose went home to Japan to care for her dying grandmother. In July of 1941, she left America, where she had recently graduated from UCLA, and she went to Japan to take care of her dying grandmother. Well, in December of that year, when she was still in Japan, a war broke out. She was an American citizen who was stuck there. And because she was an American citizen, she was basically made a not even second-class citizen. She was like a fifth-class citizen. She was denied war ration cards, which is how people in Japan got food during the war. She was rude, so she had to take jobs. And because she spoke English, she got jobs at very low-paying, almost slave-wage jobs, working for media companies because she could speak English. She could speak English and Japanese, and she could translate things and all that stuff. She didn't want to do it, but she was kind of forced to do it because she was stuck in Japan. So she started working at a prisoner of war camp, and she started smuggling food into Allied prisoners, American soldiers who had been taken. She started smuggling food. She started taking care of them. And so the Japanese prison camp decided, because she had a media background and because there was another prisoner there who was a big broadcaster in Australia, he was an Australian guy who got captured, they said, why don't we start a radio station where it's just all of you Americans and you're just talking shit to the other Americans who can listen. Like the Americans were out there on the aircraft carriers launching planes that are bombing Tokyo. You guys will just do a radio show where you talk shit. But she didn't talk shit. She didn't. She engaged in parody. Her name wasn't even Tokyo Rose. It was Orphan Annie. They called her Orphan Annie on the air because she was seen as an orphan. She had no country. She couldn't go. She was stuck in Japan. She couldn't go back to America because America freaked out after Pearl Harbor. And they're like, nobody from Japan gets back in. And she's like, but I'm a natural born American citizen. So anyway, she was pretty much demonized in the years after. And certainly during the World War, during the Vietnam War, when those incredibly ugly broadcasters came to be known, she was sort of lumped in with them. And she wasn't. She was basically, and then after the war, they wouldn't let her back in. She's like, I just want to come home. But again, she didn't engage in any propaganda. She did news reports. She introduced songs. She did stuff like that. There was parody. There were comedy skits that she did. I mean, just look into the story of Tokyo Rose. It's really fascinating because we think that she's a monster, and she really wasn't. She was a victim. She was screwed. Anyway, and on this day in 1977, President Ford pardoned her for all of her crimes, which is good. Although I'm sure at the time, people who don't know the true story of Tokyo Rose were like, there's a President Ford. What are they doing? Just pardon. That old lib, Gerald Ford, right? On this day in 1981, the Iran hostage crisis, the United States and Iranian officials signed an agreement to release the 52 American hostages that had been kept for 14 months in captivity. Here's another little bit of revisionist history that I think we conveniently think is the truth. Tomorrow is January 20th, Inauguration Day. And on this day in 1908, or tomorrow was the day that President Reagan was sworn in. And, again, American propaganda. The American propaganda was, the day before Reagan became president, they released the hostages because they were afraid of Reagan. They were so afraid of what Reagan was going to do. That's not it, you dummies. They had been negotiating with this administration, the Carter administration, for a year, like working out a deal. And all parties realized that deal would be off the table with Reagan. So if they were going to get it done, they had to get it done now. It wasn't that they were afraid of Reagan. They just didn't want to reset the clock on all of this. So they went, all right, let's just get it done now. So them being released the day before Reagan was sworn in is more of a testament to Carter and those negotiators that put that deal together than it is to Reagan, them being afraid of Reagan, although it's easy to say they were afraid. No, everybody just wanted that to be over, and Iran wanted what they were going to get, and they got what they got. Who knows? You're right. You know what? Maybe Reagan would have started bombing them. Okay, well, did we need that? Would we have needed a war in Iran in 1981? I mean, the Soviet Union was still around. That would have turned into a world war. It's not the same situation with Iran now. Well, they're still kind of friends with Russia, but Russia ain't the Soviet Union, as we're seeing in the Ukraine. So yeah, you wanted to avoid that whole World War III dust-up that was inevitably going to happen if we started some sort of conflict against Iran in 1981. But anyway, look, I'm not taking anything away from Reagan. I'm just telling all the dummies who are like, they was afraid of Reagan. Yeah, it's not that stupid, you reductive fool, okay? Moving on. 1983, the Apple Lisa, the first commercial personal computer from Apple, is released. Okay, so whatever that means. Wasn't that his daughter, right? think I saw that in one of the Steve Jobs movies. Wait, did Steve Jobs, was he like a really bad dad, but he named a computer after his daughter? So people were like, oh, he was a great dad. I don't know. I want to think that like he like never talked to her, or wasn't there some issue over like he claimed it wasn't his daughter? I don't know, something like that. Whatever. It was on this day though in 83. The Apple Lisa. All right, that's it for the things that I felt were noteworthy coming into today. Let's do some of the birthdays. Let's talk about some of the people who were born on this day. Born on this day in 1807, Robert E. Lee, and the description here is American general and academic. Oh, I think there's a couple other things that you could mention, but, just the one-liner, Robert E. Lee, American general and academic. Born on this day in 1809, Edgar Allan Poe. American short story writer, poet, and critic. I'm not all that familiar with Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, The Raven, Nevermore, The Telltale Heart, and that. I mean, I know the hits, right? But I don't go deep. I don't go deep with Edgar Allan Poe. I know the hits. I know that the Baltimore Ravens are named for him, or named in somehow connected. Well, they're connected to him because Edgar Allan Poe was from Baltimore. He's probably like the most famous person from Baltimore, right? He was from Baltimore, and he wrote The Raven, and that's why the Baltimore Ravens are called the Ravens. So there you go. Look, we brought it into modern times. Born on this day in 1918. Yeah, this is an interesting one that I wanted to mention. A couple weeks back, James and I had a small discussion about my belief that Chicago is the black capital of America, that there hasn't been more done and accomplished by black Americans in any other city. There has been no city that has been better for accomplishing things. Black business, black entertainment, black superstars, black culture, black neighborhoods, all of that. And at some point, we're going to have this argument. But Johnny Johnson is celebrating a birthday today. I mean, he's not celebrating. He's dead. But, Johnny Johnson is, and also the other day we were talking about Marshall Fields, and I said Marshall Fields is probably one of the biggest names in Chicago history. Like Marshall Field, the Field family is just very big. The Johnson family is the same way. The Johnson family, Johnny Johnson was the most powerful man in black American media for about 50 years, like before there was a BET, and he was a major investor in BET. He's one of the people that got BET on the air, but that was towards the end of his career. Johnny Johnson ran, I don't think he had anything to do with the Chicago Defender, which was the largest black published paper in America for like 100 years. But Johnny Johnson and Johnson Publishing, man, they created Ebony magazine, they created Jet magazine, then they created like a whole line of like black skinned makeup. Like, I guess black women have special makeup that they wear. Yeah, well, that's all Johnny Johnson's company. So there you go. Johnny Johnson, Ebony, Jet magazine, Soul Train, one of the initial producers of Soul Train. What else? I thought BET. I mean, he was for years. He was the first black media magnate. I don't know how do you say that. First black media baron. Let's call it that. First black media baron to be listed in the list of the, I think it was 10 most powerful people in American media. And that was like in 1970. Like in 1970, he made that list. Very powerful guy. Johnny Johnson, born on this day in 1918. Born on this day in 1923, Gene Stapleton. Boy, the way Glenn Miller played songs that made the hit. Edith Bunker. Talking about Edith Bunker. Born on this day in 1923. Who doesn't like Edith? Archie hit Edith. You know Archie hit Edith. You know Archie hit Edith, and you know that Ralph hit Alice. Those are two things. I don't think Ricky hit Lucy. I know that Rob never hit Laura Petrie. Archie Bunker probably knocked Edith around, right? Don't you see that? I mean, look, I know it's an ugly thought, and we only saw what was filmed on camera, but I think there was probably some domestic abuse in that house. I don't know if it was still around the time that Meathead started showing up, because I think Meathead might have had a big problem with that, but, whatever. Gene Stapleton, Edith Bunker, born on this day in 1923. Born on this day in 1930, Tippi Hedren, American model, actress. animal rights welfare activist. The birds, right? Tippi Hedren was the girl in the bird. The birds. Right? She was covered in birds. Tippi Hedren, probably, you never heard of her, but she's Dakota Johnson's grandma. Okay, she's Melanie Griffith's mom, but she's, for, younger folk, she's Dakota Johnson's grandma. So Dakota, Melanie Griffith is Dakota Johnson's mom. Tippi Hedren is Melanie Griffith's mom. That's how that works. Born on this day, we've got a nice little run here of people who are celebrating birthdays. Ladies and gentlemen, Janis Joplin is celebrating a birthday today. Janis Joplin, Pride of Port Arthur, Texas. No, not the Pride of Port Arthur, Texas. As a matter of fact, my best Janis Joplin story comes from Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson, the former Dallas Cowboys head coach, Super Bowl coach, and you see him on TV. I like Jimmy Johnson. I didn't like Jimmy Johnson as a coach because he coached the Cowboys, and that was at a time when I still hated the Cowboys. But I love Jimmy Johnson as a personality. And my partner Kelly and I had a chance to sit down with Jimmy Johnson for a very long interview. He sat with us for about an hour. I really think he enjoyed the interview. I really think he enjoyed just talking to us. And during the course of the interview that he did with us, I asked him about growing up in Port Arthur, Texas. And then I asked him about, because in my research, I discovered that he'd gone to high school in Port Arthur, Texas at the same time as Janis Joplin. And Jimmy Johnson sat there on mic and talked for a good 10 minutes about Janis Joplin and how guilty he feels and what a shame it is on everyone in Port Arthur because of the way that she was treated. I mean, she was a weirdo. He goes, we just all treated her like she was a weirdo. We were mean. We were thoughtless. We didn't recognize her genius. We didn't understand talent. We were a bunch of dumb kids in South Texas, and she was a weird girl. Jimmy Johnson started to cry. He started to tear up. That's how guilty he felt about the way he behaved as a child. So I guess he was kind of a bully to Janis Joplin, I guess. Anyway, feels bad about it. That's got to be worth something. People do change. People do evolve. Life changes you. The way you might behave in a certain situation when you're 18, 17 years old is hopefully far different than the way you would react or behave if you were 40, right? I mean, and Jimmy Johnson seems to have evolved in that, so I give him credit. Happy birthday to you, Janis Joplin. Didn't mean to spend your birthday comments celebrating your bully, but whatever. We did it. Born on this day in 1946. The greatness, American treasure. There's only about 3 or 4, I would say. If we really made a list of who are the legit American treasures, female. This is female category. Dolly Parton's one of them. And Dolly Parton is celebrating a birthday today. How great is Dolly Parton? I just love that woman. I mean, when she dies, seriously, that's going to be, how many people, does anybody not appreciate and adore Dolly Parton? I mean, only the most radicalized weirdos have a problem with Dolly Parton, right? Because everything about her, she has been so consistently kind, decent, and sweet her entire life. She's always caring about other people. She's a lovely woman. Keep Dolly Parton safe. Born on this day in 1946. This is one of my favorite ones. Born on this day in what year? 1949. Hold on. I'll use it because it's one of my favorite stories. One of my favorite. Well, not stories. One of my favorite bits that I do. Okay. So, what the fudge? Hold on. How does that not? Hold on, we'll get there. All right, there we go. It's Robert Palmer's birthday. That's right. Robert Palmer, the great Robert Palmer, was born on this day in 1949. And why do I call him the great Robert Palmer? Because one of my favorite things to do to torture my teenage son, and that is one of the most enjoyable things about having a teenager, is that as the parent, you're allowed to humiliate them in ways that, really it's just getting back for shit they did when they were 5, right? Where they're like, oh my God, my kid is a total a-hole. I'll get him back for that. And how do I get my kid back? Every time I pick up my kid from a place where I know he's going to be standing out in front with his friends, I pull up with the windows down, cranking this song. And then I rev the engine of my Chevy Malibu, and I yell, "Get in the car, kid!" To his credit, he has embraced it. He no longer, the first couple of times he was like, "God, I hate when you do that." But I won't stop. I will not stop. I will let him sit in the passenger seat next to me and just go, "Why you do that? You're so lame, Dad. That is so lame. Like, it's not funny. I don't know why you think it's funny." Okay, so that was like the first 2 times. Now it's funny. Now he loves it. As a matter of fact, the last time I picked him up at a roller rink, his friends were standing out in front. He had just had a good time. So I pull up into the roller rink with, a little bit of this going. And he literally like shimmied to the car. So, he's embracing it. Who's this now? Who's this? Okay, hold on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Buffalo is on the live stream. Hi, E.
Hey, landscaper's here. Just want to let you know.
All right, yeah, she's good. I got her here.
Okay,
thank you. Bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.
There we go. That's E. That's enough. Happy birthday, Robert Palmer. Desi Arnaz Jr. was born on this day in 1953. A lot of people think he was born on live TV. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. No, I saw it. He was born on the Lucy show. No, well, they replicated his birth. I believe the birth episode aired like a day later, but Desi Arnaz, born on this day in 1953, was not born on live TV, even though your grandpa probably told you that he saw it. I saw him born live on TV. No, you didn't. Desi Arnaz was not. There was not a Lucy episode where she was legit in labor. Okay, that's not. They filmed a scene where she was giving birth, and then it just so happens that episode aired like the day after she actually gave birth. Born on this day in 1954, Katie Seagal. Katie Seagal, ladies and gentlemen. Are you a Katie Seagal Peg Bundy, or are you a Katie Seagal Gemma Teller? Because I got to tell you, Katie Seagal's Gemma Teller was awesome. I liked the first season of Married with Children, but then it just got so stupid and so bad. It just got so lowest common denominator humor that I kind of was like, nope, not watching it anymore. So I had no respect for Katie Seagal. I just had no respect for Peg Bundy. I was like, whatever. Then she starred in Sons of Anarchy, where she played Gemma Teller, a completely different wife and mother than the one she portrayed on Married with Children, and she was excellent. So happy birthday to you, Katie Seagal. Katie Seagal married to Kurt Sutter. Kurt Sutter, the creator of Sons of Anarchy. She's also a singer. She's also a really good singer. Born on this day in 1969, the tragic Junior Seau. Junior Seau, American football player, terrific player. Terrific. One of the best defensive players of his era, without a doubt. Junior Seau, San Diego Chargers legend. Was it suicide? I think it might have been suicide. He died in 2012, but CTE, Junior Seau, it was obvious. I believe that he's one of the people who donated his brain to that clinical thing that they were doing in Boston. I don't know, the Will Smith movie. Before we all hated Will Smith, we liked him because he played like the African doctor who, I don't know what that was. What was that movie even called? Cranium? I don't know, something like that. It was a one-word title. But yeah, born on this day in 1969, Junior Seau. Born on this day in 1974, friend of the show, Frank Caliendo, master impersonator, Frank Caliendo. Everybody loves Frank Caliendo. I like Frank. I'll say this about Frank. Which I've noticed is the case with a lot of comedians. And if you remember the old Pugs and Kelly show, we had a lot of comedians. Many of them became good friends. Many of them became people that we socialized with. Frank Caliendo was like that. Frank has an edge. Frank is not just the, hey, I'm going to do Madden guy. He's not just that. Frank has a bit of an edge. There's a bit of a darkness to Frank. He's incredibly quiet Like, he's not, when he's on, the camera's on, right? Like, that's when he's Frank Caliendo and all that stuff. And that's when he was out. But he's kind of an awkward guy. He's quiet. He's there's an edge to him. That's all I'll say. I like him. I like him a lot. I think it makes him interesting. I think it makes him more than just, the zany weird guy on TV. But there's something not dark like he's gonna be a murderer. Not like that. I just mean like dark, like there's some haunting in Frank. Like, if you sit and just talk to him, he can be very serious. Like he's not always on. Like, he's a normal guy who then just does these really funny voices. But when he's just normal Frank, I mean, there is a how would I describe it? You know what? I don't know. Anyway, happy birthday, Frank. I love you. We're good friends. Well, actually, that's not true. I haven't talked to him in 10 years, but I like him. I'm just saying he's more interesting and there's more to him than I think what we see when he's doing, the NFL football stuff or doing stand-up comedy on The Tonight Show or whatever it is. Born on this day in 1982. This one kills me because we're going to do a couple of umbilical cousins here. Umbilical cousins. Those are people who are born on the same day, same year. You guys, Pete Buttigieg and Jodie Sweetin. So who is she? Steph Tanner from Full House? They're the same age. How is Steph Tanner from Full House old enough to be the Transportation Secretary of the United States? Because that's what Pete Buttigieg is. Born on this day in 1992, dead on this day in 2018, American rapper Mac Miller. Born on this day in 1999, American football player, Indianapolis Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan, you're a fine running back, but if I see one more Twitter, how about this? Okay, so again, getting the NFL. Chicago Bears, my Chicago Bears have the number 1 overall pick. We don't need a quarterback, so we are open for business, as they say. We're going to be trading that pick, and we're going to get ourselves a haul. So excited about this. Recently, I rewatched the film Draft Day, just to because I'm so into what we're going to do with the draft. So Indianapolis is picking at number 4, and they need a quarterback. Houston is picking at number 2, and they need a quarterback. Indianapolis and Houston are in the same division, the AFC South. That's a good situation for the number 1 Chicago Bears to be in, because they can pit 2 division rivals against each other for the services who, it appears, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and Will Levis seem to be, although Anthony Richardson, as we get closer to the draft, there's going to be more players that start to tick up, and there's going to be players that tick down. It happens all the time. Anyway, the rumors are about Jonathan Taylor. Well, what if we give you, it's like, first we'll swap 1 for 4, but then you'll also get our 2, and then you can have our first rounder next year, and we'll throw in Jonathan Taylor. I don't want Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's great, but we've got $150 million in cap space going into this. It's an unprecedented amount of cap space heading into free agent, and we've got the number 1 overall pick, and we've got multiple seconds and multiple 3. I mean, we don't need Jonathan Taylor. This free agency, we got Saquon Barkley out there. I think we're going to make him an offer. We got Josh Jacobs out there. Look, we don't need that as part of the trade. We don't want Jonathan Taylor. We want Michael Pittman thrown in, or we want Buckner thrown in. You know what? We'll even talk to you about Quentin Nelson being thrown in. All right, that's enough draft talk, but can you tell I'm obsessed? I'm obsessed with what my team's going to do. My team is in a position, and this is crazy, and we had to suffer this year. Oh God, we knew it. We tore it down to the studs before training camp even started. The Chicago Bears tore their entire team down to the studs. Nothing but dead money all season long. Players being paid by the Chicago Bears are out there having career years for other teams. Talking about Akeem Hicks had a great year. We tore that down. We got rid of his contract. We got rid of Allen Robinson's contract. We got rid of Khalil Mack's contract. We got rid of Robert Quinn's. We got rid of Roquan Smith. We tore it down. So we got nothing. So heading into free agency, we got a lot of money. We're going to spend a lot of money. But we don't need Jonathan Taylor. You're great. You're wonderful. But we'll just sign Saquon. You know who we want. We want Michael Pittman. That's who I want. All right, let's get into some deaths. Some people who died on this day. Those are the birthdays. Dead on this day in 1996, Don Simpson, American producer, screenwriter, even actor. It says he was an actor here. I don't know what he was an actor in. Do you guys remember Don Simpson? massive. If you come from the 80s like I do, Don Simpson was a massive. It was Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer. I mean, we still know Jerry Bruckheimer, but it was Simpson and Bruckheimer. They were, what did they do? Oh my God, what didn't they do? They did Beverly Hills Cop. Look, I could go through. They did everything. They did every big, stupid, massive blockbuster that was made between 1985 and like 1990. They were the most powerful people in Hollywood, and Don Simpson died in 1996 on this day. Now, Don Simpson is fascinating. Can I read to you some descriptions of Don Simpson's personality? It's probably best that he did pass when he did, because Don Simpson would absolutely have not escaped the Me Too movement. Don Simpson was a messed up dude. All right, so here's a description of Don Simpson's personality. Simpson was known for his brash personality, provocative comments, and questionable claims. Of director Steven Spielberg, Simpson said, "I'm surprised for a smart Jew he's as white bread as he is." He later said, "Any person who suggested David Lynch for Dune should have every part of their anatomy examined." He said several times that as a producer, our obligation is to make money. Simpson worked out every day with special equipment provided by his friend Arnold Schwarzenegger. Simpson claimed he discovered Michael Mann, launched Deborah Winger's career, and cast Richard Gere in American Gigolo. He also claimed he created the concept for Beverly Hills Cop, which Michael Eisner denied. In the movie industry, professionals working with Simpson would refer to the Don Simpson discount factor, a way to tone down his exaggerations. Due to their film's success, Simpson and Bruckheimer became very rich. They often dressed in similar clothing, choosing black as their signature color. Simpson would wear black Levi 501 jeans only before their first wash, and then he'd throw them away. Not even to the Goodwill. So he would buy like 50 pairs of black Levi 501s, wear them once, and then when it was time for them to be washed, he would throw them out. It's weird. That's money weird. That's weird money. Though Simpson claimed he never underwent any plastic surgery procedures, there are reports that he underwent 10 different plastic surgeries between 88 and 94, including a penis enlargement procedure. Those surgeries eventually led to infections and many reversal procedures. Jesus, dude's having penis enlargement in 1990. We're still not even, it's 2023 and we're not even there. As Simpson and Bruckheimer's success grew, so did Simpson's reputation as a party animal. He said that next to eating and having sex, making movies is the best thing in the world. Simpson's debauched lifestyle was well known in Hollywood and has been documented in through a number of sources. He was a fixture on the Hollywood cocaine party circuit throughout the 1970s and 80s, and in his later years became known for throwing lavish all-night parties at his mansion. An entire chapter of the book, You'll Never Make Love in This Town Again, which describes 4 prostitutes' stories about their sexual encounters with Hollywood celebrities, discusses his frequent sex parties and preference for S&M. He also gave himself testosterone shots to boost his sex drive. According to the call girl Alexandra Daddig, Simpson auditioned struggling actresses for his movies, convinced them to have sex with him, and then secretly filmed their sex acts and showed them to all his friends. Just what a pig. He died because his cocaine habit got so bad that I think it was David Geffen and Jeffrey Katzenberg finally did an intervention on him. They're like, dude, you got to get healthy. But he wouldn't go to a regular rehab. No. Don Simpson had a different idea for how he could get clean. He went and he hired a former drug dealer, his former drug dealer. He went and hired his former cocaine dealer to make sure that he stayed off drugs. Now, that sounds crazy, and it is because he was, but there was a little bit of something to it because this former drug dealer had now become like an addiction specialist kind of a guy who was working with people who were addicts and trying to get them help. But he was like freeballing it. Like he wasn't doing it according to anything that had been proven. And, he just made up his whole thing. So Don Simpson got into a drug rehab program that was based on this idea. You're addicted to cocaine. Okay, you don't get cocaine anymore, but you're going to want something. So here, have some morphine. It was it was basically the idea that if you were addicted to one drug, you could take another drug instead of that drug, and before you got addicted to the second drug, you would be clean. Well, that didn't work. And he died on this day back in 1996 of severe toxicology. He was just like filled with heroin and drugs, and $70,000 a month he was spending on prescription medication alone. This is one of the first, we've heard of the whole doctor shopping phenomena that happens with addicts, where they go to one doctor and the doctor says, I can't give you any more of this, and then they just go find another doctor, and the doctor's like, okay, I'll give you a prescription. So it was like the start of the whole doctor shopping thing. He was doctor shopping for like painkillers and pills that he was just popping like crazy. Anyway, Don Simpson died on this day in 1996. Just wanted to get that right. Dead on this day in 1998, American icon Carl Perkins, American singer, songwriter, guitar player, Blue Suede Shoes. Although, don't say that Blue Suede Shoes was an Elvis song, because Carl Perkins apparently used to get angry at that. Said, I did it first. He just made it big. Born on this day in 2000. I don't know, by all of like the little boxes that I have to check, this may be the death day of the perfect woman. The perfect woman may have left us on this day. And of course, I'm talking about iconic Hollywood screen beauty, Hedy Lamarr, ladies and gentlemen. Hedy Lamarr, Austrian-American actress, singer, inventor, mathematician. I mean, she was. I've talked about her before. She is an amazing story. Hedy Lamarr was like a super genius, and she was also gorgeous. And she did math for fun. That was her thing. She would be like on sets of films doing like other celebrities, in their trailers or whatever back in the time would just be, talking smack or hanging out in the makeup trailer and, gossiping and all that. Not Hedy Lamarr. She was doing like physics problems the whole time. Anyway, she invented a bunch of stuff. All you need to do is just click on Hedy Lamarr, any kind of bio, and just read what this woman was into. And then look at her. And you're like, all that and she's a smoke show 10? Are you kidding me? And a big movie star, but also weird nerd inventor girl. Very sexy. Dead on this day in 2006, Wilson Pickett. Midnight Hour, right? We're gonna wait till the midnight hour. What are you doing, girl? What's getting into you? What's up? The dog's saying hello. Here, you want to say hi to everybody? Come on up. Say hi to everybody. You say hi. You can hear the leaf blower. The landscapers are outside. Come on. I want you to say hi to. Yeah, come on up and be the cute you. There you go. Be the gorgeous you. Say hi to everybody. See, there's the camera. All right, you need to go. I'm done. You're done. Okay, get off my knee. That hurts. Your nails hurt. You want to do the whole show here? I mean, I'll just continue. Yeah? Okay. Let's put the camera on her a little bit better. Okay, you can't hide under the tape. You gotta move. Here we go. Closing out. Goodbye. No, you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. Go, get out. This is a bad place for you. That's the dog. The dog. She's awesome, but she also sucks. She's one of them. She's a complicated dog. Awesome. Love her to death. The Mythic Farm might be in her future. I'm just saying. Well, I love her though, but she is a handful. Wilson Pickett, dead on this day in 2006. Dead on this day in 2008, Suzanne Pleshette. Oh, Bob. Remember Suzanne Pleshette from the Bob Newhart show? Oh, Bob. She had a handsome woman. That's how I would describe her. Suzanne Pleshette. She was a handsome woman. I love that description for women because it means something that it doesn't sound. It means Suzanne Pleshette. She was on the Newhart show. She played Bob Newhart's wife. Oh, Bob, and she had a real heavy, She got one of these voices because she probably smoked 10 packs of cigarettes a day. Dead on this day in 2017. This one shocked me. This one, I got to be honest with you folks. I woke up this morning and I was putting this together. I'm looking at the people who died and I went, no way. Because this dude is one of my favorite That Guy actors. Miguel Ferrer died on this day in 2017. Miguel Ferrer. I know what you're saying. You're like, who the hell's Miguel Ferrer, Pugs? I've never even heard of Miguel Ferrer. You know Miguel Ferrer. He's a That Guy actor. Here, I'll show him to you. He's George Clooney's cousin. He was George Clooney's best friend. So here you go. Get out of here! Get out of here! Go! Sorry, she was getting too close to it. There he is. You know this guy, right? Miguel Ferrer. Here, let me make it bigger so we can really... This guy, That Guy actor. It's interesting because he is like the reason that George Clooney moved from Kentucky to stay with his aunt, Rosemary Clooney. Rosemary Clooney was a singer, an actress. She was famous. She was famous for 40s, 50s famous. She was 40s and 50s famous. 60s famous too, I guess. And then George Clooney was like, well, I think I want to be an actor. So he moved to LA and his aunt Rosemary was like, well, you can live in our guest house. You can just come here and, I'll introduce you to some people and I'll get you. And the reason that he decided to take the plunge was because his first cousin, this guy, Miguel Ferrer, was like, no, dude, come on. Hollywood is great. We'll party. We'll run around. It'll be awesome. So that's the whole reason that he came up. Oh, by the way, this is Rosemary Clooney was married to, was it Miguel Ferrer? I think it was the same name. And this was their son. So this was George Clooney's cousin. Look at it. You've seen him in everything, right? I mean, he played bad guys. He played good guys. It is kind of funny that the two cousins, Miguel Ferrer is already the actor. He's already doing stuff. He's already got a foothold and he's going to bring his little cousin in from Kentucky. And he's like, yeah, kid, you just try hard. You're going to make it. And he becomes George Clooney. I mean, just went, just totally passed him up. All I'm saying is that if George Clooney was dead, I wouldn't have to show pictures and I wouldn't be referring to him as a That Guy actor. But this guy's great. Miguel Ferrer was great. And I had no idea until this morning that he was dead. So there you have it. All right. How you feeling today, folks? Should we get into all of the topics that are happening in the world today? Should I get y'all prepped up? All right. I say we do that. Let me get a drink. Once again, I'd let you know that we do these shows 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, noon to whenever, every day. Consider me. I'm just reading the newspaper for you. We're getting together. I'm reading the newspaper. I'm giving you hot takes. If you enjoy that kind of thing, or if you enjoy the Pugs and Parker show, which is the second stream that we do at 9 o'clock every evening, it's myself and James Parker. It's also current events talk, but it's conversational. It's me and James talking about something as opposed to me just telling you what's happening. If you want to support the show, please do. For the next couple of weeks, we are going to be trying to raise a little bit of money. And if, like I say, man, I love you guys. We've been doing this for over almost a year and a half now. If you can help the show, if you're in a position where you can drop a little something, consider it a tip, please do. If not, no harm, no foul, man. I love you guys. I'm going to keep doing it. I will strive. They're going to have to kick me out of this, but I will keep doing it. The ladybug has moved on. If you were with us at the start of the show, I had a ladybug here on the window ledge, and I gave her a little piece of potato, and she nibbled on the potato, and now she's moving on. Okay. Tip the show if you can. If you can't, again, man, I don't care. I just love. Thank you, Joel. Joel dropped a tip last night. That was very kind. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tips are a little slow. That's all. I'm just mentioning it because they're a little slow, but I wanted to thank Joel. And by the way, I'm never going to say how much. That's not cool. Because if somebody tips $1, that's just as important to me as somebody who tips 20. No, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Spiritually, it's the same thing. They spend differently, though. Yes, they do. That's my co-host, Schizophrenic Me. I told you he'd be popping around. All right, the big trending thing that's happening today that y'all need to know about, borrowing limit. Apparently, we've maxed out the United States credit card. That's really what this is. We can't borrow any more money. We have no more credit. What is happening here? The United States, so now there's going to be a big fight. That's fine. Fight it out. Just don't be absurd about it. Just don't, there's going to be some ridiculous things. Well, if we got rid of the public school system, just shut up. And then there'll be another one on the other side. They'll be like, well, if we got rid of the police. Oh, shut up. Shut up, you people. Just work. Be reasonable. 31 $31.4 trillion is essentially our credit limit. That's basically what we got in credit. And we've hit that $31.4 trillion. So, as I say on the show, we don't do any politics. We don't do divisive bullshit. I don't give a crap. If you're on the right or if you're on the left and you're like, this is the right thing to be, or this is the right, you're all idiots. Okay, come join the rest of us somewhere in the middle, somewhere where we're like, yeah, you guys over there are crazy and those guys over there are crazy. This is where if we could just unify the middle, I swear to God, if we could just mute the crazy people on the far right and the crazy people on the far left. It would be like we go back to its what 19. I don't know. When was it okay? Was it ever okay? I don't know. Anyway, borrowing limit. That's why it's trending. $31.4 trillion. That's our credit card limit. Russia is also trending today. Russia. There's a number of reports coming out of that part of the world. Well, I had no word for that. Okay, so I'll just run down a couple of the hot points. Zelensky thinks Putin might be dead. Okay, just throwing that out there, are you? Voldemort, or whatever your name is. You just tossing that out there that he might be dead? You got any proof? But more importantly, an ally of President Vladimir Putin has warned NATO on Thursday that a defeat of Russia in Ukraine, look at that, allies of Putin are actually forming those sentences. A defeat of Russia by Ukraine. Now go back to a year, because this war's been going on for about a year. Did you ever think that was even possible? That was, Ukraine's going to win this. Nobody thought this. Nobody thought that the Ukraine was going to be able to stand down the vaunted Russian military. They were going to roll in, and it was going to be 2 weeks, and it was going to be over, and Putin was going to have his Ukraine back or whatever. Look at that. Now you've got Putin allies going, hey, if we lose, like they're actually saying that. They're putting that out there, which is a huge, huge change. Because for a while, it was like, there's no way that we can lose. No way we can lose. Right? And now it's like, if we lose, we're going to nuke you. And that's what they're saying. An ally of President Vladimir Putin has warned NATO on Thursday that a defeat of Russia in Ukraine could trigger a nuclear war. While the head of the Russian Orthodox Church said that the world would end if the West tried to destroy Russia. Again, I don't want to go into the politics of this whole thing, but Russia invaded another country. Russia threw the first punch, and now it appears that Russia's in a fight that they didn't think they were going to be in. And so now what? It's the people who fought back's fault? Don't poke the bear, right? They poked the bear. They poked the bear. They played an away game. This war is an away game for the Russian army. They're not fighting it on their home territory. They got to go somewhere else. They're fighting against guerrilla-style tactics. It's not going well. Biden is trending. President Joe Biden is trending. Why is he? Because apparently, I don't know, it's looking more and more like he's going to run again. This is no political, I hate Joe Biden kind of thing. Look, you guys know I'm not crazy about Biden. I'm not crazy. I'm certainly not crazy about Trump. Biden is, I don't want him to run again. I don't want him to, I don't want him to run again. I want to have a really interesting Democratic primary season where we see a whole bunch of people, where we hear from a whole bunch of different views. Maybe there's somebody decent in there who's going to be, all right, I'm not playing this stupid political game. Same goes for the Republicans. I want to see remember when the last one, oh no, it wasn't the last one, it was 2016. Remember 2016? Remember the Republican primary where there was like 40 dudes? And literally, there was Fiorini, right? There was Carly Fiorini. She was in there too. But other than that, it was like 40 dudes. And it was good. It was good. It was like, okay, let's see what that guy says. We should have the same thing. Joe Biden needs to not run. And he needs to say, I think that there needs to be new leadership with this political party and that we're going to open up but they won't. They won't challenge. They should. They really should. Because I think Biden gets smoked by DeSantis. I really do. I think Biden's too old. I think that even people who would be, a little bit like sick to their stomach at the idea of DeSantis, they might look at Biden and go, this guy's going to be 85 when you can't. I'm not an ageist. I want somebody who is tethered to the modern world, right? I want somebody who, all right, never mind. I don't do politics. I don't want to do politics. Ooh, here's a big one. Here's a big one that got political, which I understand why. The person at the center of the story brought it on himself. Of course, I'm talking about Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin is trending today because, holy cow, it looks like he's going to be charged with manslaughter in the fatal shooting on the set of Rust that happened about, 12, 13, 14, 15 months ago. So here's the thing. Baldwin was rehearsing with a pistol while filming Rust at the Bonanza Creek Ranch in New Mexico back in October of 2021 when it went off, killing cinematographer Helena. Sorry, I want to get her name right because, respect and all that. Helena Hutchins, and wounding the director. Oscar-nominated actor Alec Baldwin is going to be charged with involuntary manslaughter in the fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the New Mexico set of the Western movie Rust. All right, so we're like, okay, involuntary manslaughter. Was this like a slap on the wrist or something like that? Sounds like it, right? Sounds like you don't do jail time for involuntary, do you? I mean, you probably pay a fine, maybe home confinement. I don't know. No, because there's a gun involved. New Mexico has like a thing that accelerates the charge. So because it's involuntary manslaughter with a gun and it's 2 counts, he's looking at 10 years in prison. 10 years in prison. And I laugh because it seems absurd to me. Because although Alec Baldwin for me is a little much, he's just a little much. Full disclosure, his character Jack Donaghy on 30 Rock is one of the funniest television characters of all time. But again, you separate the art from the artist. Alec Baldwin brought all of this on himself. Alec Baldwin has been a political provocateur for years. He loved when he was playing Trump. And it was funny the first couple of times. He was like, oh, wow, look, Alec Baldwin, he's good at being Trump. But then they beat that into the ground and it just became like, dude, really? Really, what do you stop doing this now? This has like gone on way too long. It's not funny anymore. And it's like he was taunting the right. And when this situation happened on the set of Rust, and I completely, 100%, with my heart of hearts, because I'm a normal person, I'm not some weirdo, I totally understand that this was a tragic accident. Somebody screwed up. But are you asking me to believe that Alec Baldwin on the set of that movie goes, you know what's going to be crazy? Watch, I'm going to shoot and kill this beautiful young cinematographer today. There was no intent there. There was no premeditation. He's an actor. He was handed a gun and he rehearsed a scene like So I don't believe for 1 minute that, because you see people who are coming after Alec Baldwin. And as I said at the beginning of this, he brought it on himself. He brought it on himself by being a top tier political provocateur for decades. He's decades doing this stuff. But do I believe that he murdered this woman intentionally? No. It was an accident. We all know it's an accident. At least normal people understand that it's a tragic accident, that somebody didn't do their job properly and somebody got killed because of it. But the person who didn't do their job properly wasn't the actor who was handed the gun and said, all right, rolling, speed, and no. But it's weird. It's weird, too, because, you're thinking, so who's the district attorney that's bringing these charges against Alec Baldwin? It's got to be one of these MAGA elected officials there in New Mexico, right? No, it is a liberal Democrat female prosecutor in New Mexico. Her name is Mary Carmack Altwies. She is the district attorney, and she has decided that she is going, because fair is fair. Because we need to bring charges. I will bring charges against gun crime. She's like a big gun crime lady. It's crazy. Anyway, Alec Baldwin's in trouble, man. This is a real charge. Because it's compounded in the state of New Mexico with the fact that a firearm was used in the commission of this involuntary manslaughter. The charges get doubled. They go up. It's crazy. Alec Baldwin, they got him. Again, he didn't do it on purpose. This was an accident. Alec Baldwin's a murderer. No, he's involved in an accident where somebody died, but he's not a murderer. I mean, there's a difference. Kyle Rittenhouse isn't a murderer. Well, okay, again, I'll go with you on that, Kyle. I don't believe Kyle Rittenhouse is a murderer either. I believe a situation occurred where someone died. But for me, motivation, intent, all of those things play into it. And I don't believe that. Well, okay. I kind of made it cloudy when I referenced Rittenhouse because it's a little bit more complicated than that. But Alec Baldwin did not intentionally murder anyone. But, whatever. They've got these gun crimes on the books, right? In New Mexico, these gun laws. And apparently she's got to follow the letter of the law, and she's going to charge him with manslaughter, 2 counts of manslaughter. By the way, the movie's... do you want to see the movie, Rust? I do. I really want to see that movie now. So they settled, with the family of Helena Hutchins, who was the beautiful young mother, a cinematographer who tragically lost her life on the set. They all settled. And from what it appears, Baldwin's got a pretty good relationship with the kid, and he's pledging to be in his life. And oh, great, creepy Uncle Alex coming over again. Why? Because he feels compelled to be here because he killed my mom. So now I got to spend the next 4 minutes playing catch in the backyard with a guy who shot my mom. Awesome. This is great. Thanks, Dad. Anyway, they reached an agreement. And the family, the little boy who Helena Hutchins left behind and her husband are now executive producers on the film. So what does that mean? That means that they get back end profits. That means that they were given a cash settlement and then they were made executive producers on the film. So that means that like every dollar that the movie earns, the family and the little boy gets it. So if that's not enough motivation for you to sit through this thing, because knowing that if you see it, it's going to help the family, that's a nice thing. And that's kind of why they settled, because I think they understand, as do I, that everybody's going to want to see this movie. This may not be a good movie. This may be a bad movie. This may be a boring, stupid, dumb movie. Who knows? But people are going to see this movie. This movie is going to be seen. I don't know if it's going to be in movie theaters or whatever, but there's going to be money to be made because a lot of eyes are going to be curious as to what this whole thing was about, because we've heard about it for so long, and we know that there was a tragedy that occurred on the set. All right, that's the Alec Baldwin story. How about Live Golf? Do you guys like golf? I was in a meeting yesterday with a bunch of dudes, and there was like 6 of us. And at some point in the meeting, they started talking about golf. And it was so funny because Schwartz, Dr. Robert Schwartz, he's my partner on Mansplaining, which is a project that we're working on. So we're sitting in this meeting room, and they start getting into golf, like golf minutia. And me and Schwartz just slowly look at each other like, we both roll our eyes. Oh, you guys don't like the golf? I'm like, no, don't really like the golf. Schwartz is like, I like to shoot things. He's a shooter. He'll go out to like a gun range and stuff. No, not golf. Anyway, Live Golf is trending. That's the little ploy by the what is it? The Saudi Sovereign Fund. There's this fund in Saudi Arabia that the royal family there has created. Prince bin Salalala, I don't even know his name. I don't need to know it. But that bad guy Prince over there, he created this giant fund. It's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, and the purpose of the fund is to change the global reputation of Saudi Arabia. Interestingly enough, the fund was established in the wake of him killing that Washington Post journalist by torturing him to death. He went, okay, I killed him, but I'm going to start a sovereign fund so that we can make everybody forget about that by doing really cool things here in Saudi Arabia. Live Golf is one of those things. Live Golf is a challenger to PGA. It's another professional golf league. They've been poaching some fairly big name players from the PGA for the past 18 months or so. And the only way you've been able to watch Live Golf tournaments is on streams. Like they had no home, because no networks want to be in business with the Saudi royal family. It's a bad look. Other advertisers will, it'll just be a problem, right? NBC signs a deal with Live Golf. First of all, they've got NBC and they all have deals in place with the PGA, so they can't. But they wouldn't. So guess what? Live Golf is finally going to be on TV. It is. It finally found a network. Guess what network is going to be? the CW. The CW, ladies and gentlemen. CW is getting into sketchy sports. Sketchy ass sports. Live Golf is, we talked about this before. We just saw it play out with the World Cup in Qatar. It's called sports washing. It's sports washing is a play on whitewashing. When you whitewash something to remove a stain, you whitewash it. Sports washing is what nations that are really bad, like brutal dictatorships and all that. Sports washing is like what Qatar did. Like everybody knows that Qatar is a god-awful place to be, that those people are maniacs down there. But they got the World Cup. And for like a month or however long the World Cup went on, the whole world was like, look at how beautiful Qatar is. Oh, it can't possibly be as bad as we've heard. Look at how nice. I mean, it didn't really play out that way for Qatar because there were a whole bunch of other issues. But that's what this Saudi sovereign fund is all about, and the creation of Live Golf. They're trying to sports wash the reputation of Saudi Arabia so that people don't think it's so bad. All right, here's another fun one that's trending today. Kitara. Kitara is trending. Kitara is trending with George Santos. Oh, that's right. George Santos, everybody's favorite new congressman. He's my favorite new congressman. I love this guy. I can't wait to see what this guy gets into. I hope he stays. I've been saying this from moment one. He won. Not only did he win electorally, but he won in the con that he was pulling. He decided, he looked around and he went, these people are really stupid and I want to be a congressman. And you know what? I'm just going to tell them all kinds of bullshit and they're going to believe it because they're stupid and they're lazy. And they probably aren't going to do any due diligence on me. So when I tell them that I was a champion volleyball player, that my mother was in the World Trade Center, when I tell them that I'm Jewish, when I tell them that all of these things, he lied about everything. We know. I don't have to rehash the whole George Santos story, but it's not his fault. I mean, is he a bad guy? Yeah, he's a con man. But he won. He won because we, the people, voted for him. That's on us. You can't retroactively go, oh, I just thought I was going to vote for him because he had a nice smile. And I went and I saw his speech and he said a bunch of things and I went, wow, I definitely want a representative who was the best Ivy League volleyball player of the 1990s. That's like something that he claimed. He never went to college. Let alone played volleyball or was. So that's the backstory on George Santos. Oh, there's more, though. This is great. So it turns out that he lived in Brazil for a while. And when he lived in Brazil, he was a drag queen. He was a drag queen named Kitara. Such a weird story. Everything about this guy. I want him in Congress. He's not big. He won. Sorry, idiot voters from that congressional district. This is who you got hornswoggled by. It's not his fault. He won. He lied to you. It's not illegal to lie. It is not illegal to lie. And by the way, if you're holding out hope that the rest of his caucus turns on him and gets rid, that ain't going to happen. He's a Republican. We've gone through this a million times. The Republicans don't do that. That's the stupid, dumb, fall on your sword nonsense that the Democrat morons are always doing. Oh, I have sinned against humanity, and now I must fall on my sword to show that I am of moral superior. I have grand character. And then Al Franken is never heard from again, right? This is the idiot Democrat way of doing things, not the Republicans. The Republicans are like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You need to step down. No. Now what? See, this is what Trump taught us. I always say this. It's amazing. It's like the one thing that Trump taught us or taught me. And I want to speak for you because, we all are affected differently by these things. But that's the great tool. That's the great life tool that Donald Trump taught me, which is, don't give into it. No matter what they say, you make them bring charges, make them put you in handcuffs, make them try you and then put you in jail. Do not cop to anything. If they demand that, I demand that you apologize. No. How's that? What? What do you mean, no? You're supposed to stand and tearfully apologize to your family. No, that ain't happening anymore because you people are morons. And if I can just weather this storm of your criticism and attacks for, I don't know, a week or so, it's all going to go away. Just like Dana White. Dana White, I'm telling you, nothing is going to happen to him. Dana White was filmed hitting his wife on New Year's Eve, and then it was a big story for 3 days, and then it went away. And then, a little bit after that, the story perked back up because it was like, well, Ari Emanuel is under pressure from women's groups to make sure that he fires Dana White as the head of the UFC. And so for a moment, it looked like something was going to happen. That was a week ago. Nothing happened. People have totally forgotten about it. Hell, there was a UFC fight this past weekend. There you go. Don't give in. Never give in. All right, so back to George Santos. I know I got down a rabbit hole there. But he's doing this. He's doing that. He's like, no, I'm not going to quit. And more crazy shit starts coming out about him. U.S. Rep George Santos reportedly dressed as a drag queen named Kitara while living in Brazil more than a decade ago as more details of the congressman's convoluted identity continue to emerge. Santos, a Republican from New York who's reportedly gone by a number of aliases in his truth-challenged past, appears to be depicted in a photo in a drag costume from 2008. All right, should we try and take a look at this? You guys have probably seen it. But we'll show it anyway. Where is he? Yeah, George Santos. All right, there we go. Okay, let me see if I can get you. Bear with me, because it's going to be like a minute here. Got to download. Everything's got to take forever. The latest look into Santos' younger years has revealed he was a drag queen in Brazil. According to a former friend of Santos. Santos and Richard, the friend's name is Richard. Santos and Richard met when Richard was already an established drag queen in a Brazilian city next to Rio de Janeiro. And she says, or he said, I don't know. What do you do with drag queens? What is the rule of thumb with drag queens? Are they trans? Because I'll give the respect to the trans. Call them they. They want to be called they. That's fine. There's no skin off my back. I don't get it, but whatever. I'm not looking to be a dick. I'm like, whatever. This is your life. You live your life. I'll pay you the courtesy of at least trying to not be a jerk about shit that I don't get or fully understand. But what is the deal with drag queens? Because drag queens aren't trans. Some are. Drag queens are just men that dress as women. And then they go back. I don't know, whatever. The latest look into Santos' younger years was revealed by Cabas. I don't even know what any of this is. The latest look into Santos' younger years was revealed to Cabas by Ilud Richard, a drag queen in Brazil and former friend of Santos. Santos and Richard met when Richard was already an established drag queen in Brazil. She says, I think I met him when he was around 16 or 17 years old. She said of Santos, who used to go by the Anthony back then. He used to hang out in my house while his mom was playing bingo. What is mom? What is he, Brazilian? What? I don't know what he is. I thought his mom was a Jewish woman who was almost killed in 9/11 in one of the Twin Towers. Now it turns out she's a cleaning woman. She's a housekeeper. The freshman congressman became a national punchline after he was caught in a series of lies about his college education, employment history, and ethnic heritage, among other tall tales that keep piling up. And there's a whole list of them here, but we won't get into that. The personal story that he campaigned on was largely disproven shortly after his first term in office was about to begin following a bomb. I'm going to do that, man. Find out what... Just lie. Just get up and go, I'll never forget. Hi, I'm Pugs Moran, and I'm running for Congress from the Texas 5. And look, hey, it's so good to see all you people here. I ain't seen this many happy faces since the day I won the Heisman Trophy. I could do that stuff. I could do that. I remember back when I was a NASA astronaut on the shuttle program. I could just get up and lie about shit, and there'll probably be enough people to go, he's a Heisman Trophy winning astronaut. Yeah, that's who I am. I remember when I starred in 8 is Enough as a child. You make up anything. Just people are just dumb. And they're like, I like that he's saying that stuff, and that stuff sounds pretty to my ears. So I'm going to vote for him because I like that. All right, let me see if I can find you this picture. I've given it enough time here. Where is he? Where is he? There we go. All right, this is a bad, grainy picture. There he is. There he is, Republican caucus. There's your newest member from Long Island. He's on the right. He's wearing the red. Let me see. Maybe I'll make it a little bit. I'll bring it down a little so we can get a better look at his face. There he is. There she is. There they are. Again, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm a man. I'm a man in my 50s. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to get along with everybody. I don't want to be offensive, but I don't know what to call him here. Is this a dude in a dress, or do I have to call him they? I'm willing to. I'm not like those people. I'm not doing this because I'm a slave to my ego and it doesn't seem right. No, I'm willing to go whatever. People can be whatever they want. But what is that? What is that? That is, I don't know. Anyway, that's why he's trending. That's why George Santos is trending, because apparently he's a drag queen now too in Brazil. And you got to imagine, that's the big leagues. That's what he should, he shouldn't have been he shouldn't have lied about all that other stuff. He was a drag queen in Brazil. That ain't like being a drag queen in Tacoma, right? Being a drag queen in Brazil, I think Brazil, that's where all the really good ones come from, right? Isn't that not the carnival and all that crazy stuff? He made the bigs in the drag queen world, and he should have been running on that. Oh, you're telling me that the MAGA side wouldn't have voted for you if you'd made that public? Okay, all right. I don't care. That doesn't matter. Hey, Brian Kohberger is trending. Brian Kohberger, he is, of course, he did it. He's the guy who murdered those 4 girls, 3 girls and 1 guy. I always forget about Ethan Chapin, and that's not fair. Ethan Chapin died too. The Idaho College slaughtered the Idaho 4. Brian Kohberger. He did it. I mean, he did it. We don't even need it. We don't. I know. Look. Oh, really? I thought you were justice, and you liked America and the law and all that. I do. But he did it. We don't need to waste anybody's time. We know he did it. You guys know I was following that story, man. That was like my obsession for I couldn't believe that I needed more. I needed more and constant information on that. And then finally, when they caught him, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. A lot of the dots have been connected now. He totally did it. He claims that he has something called, have you ever heard of this? VS. It's visual snow syndrome. I've never heard of this. And I would have thought if somebody said, what's wrong with you? Oh, nothing. It's just my VS. What's VS? It's visual snow syndrome. What the hell is that? Are you making stuff up? I've never heard of this before in my life. It's a real thing. It's apparently a real thing. So I had to learn a little bit about VS, which is a very rare, very uncommon affliction, but people have it, and it's medically documented. What it is, Brian Kohberger has VS. It's where you see static. It's like you're the way you and I. Well, I guess actually, now that I think about it, I don't know how you see. I don't know how your eyes work. I know how my eyes work, and they've always worked this way. So, but it's clear. My eyes are clear. Like I can see everything pretty vividly. Imagine if there was like a static, like in the old days of TV with where you had the TV, the antenna, and maybe you had like some tinfoil on the antenna, whatever. We were white trash. That's what we had. We had tinfoil antennas. So you had a little tinfoil on the antenna, and you'd get like snow or static or all of that. Imagine that's how you see. Imagine that's like what. I didn't know that was a thing. Anyway, it is. So there you go. Don't say you didn't learn anything new today, because I think we all just learned about visual snow syndrome. What else do we have here? Robots. Oh, have you seen this viral video? Robots. I love Battlestar Galactica. Love it. I think it's one of the best television series ever on TV. And I'm talking about the reboot. I'm not talking about the 70s Lorne Greene version. I'm talking about the 2000s version of Battlestar Galactica. Unbelievably good show. So smart. So it was a perfect allegory for what we were going through in the time that it was on TV. It was we were going through the Iraq and Afghan wars, and that was all the buzz. Everybody was talking. We were seeing all kinds of horrible things every day. This show, they kind of took that very real world thing and they just put it in space. And as you're watching, you're like, oh, wait, that's like the insurgents. Or, oh, wait, that's like us. Wait a second. Are we the bad guys? Are we the Cylons? Like it was really mind bending the way they did that to connect with the modern audience and how you should be watching the series. Anyway, the origin story of Battlestar Galactica, which, and by the way, the series takes place like thousands of or hundreds of years after the origin story. But the origin story is that man created robots that were so good, they were called Cylons. Man created robots to do all the stuff that they didn't want. And over a period of time, the Cylons gained consciousness and realized that they were just being treated as slaves by their human masters. And the Cylons rose up, and because they knew that they were physically and mentally and intellectually superior to the humans, they basically destroyed all of humanity. And that's the purpose of battle. That's the story of Battlestar Galactica. There is one ship that's out there floating around, and it's filled with the final remaining human beings because Earth has been blown up. And they're in this ship, the Battlestar Galactica, and they're trying to find a new Earth. Okay, that's the story. You guys, we are so close to having Cylons, like real Cylons, like the way they were depicted. These robots even look like Cylons, which is bullshit. Whoever this nerd is that created this robot that I'm about to show you, whoever this nerd is a Battlestar Galactica fan, and just to freak the rest of us out, he's making these robots look like Cylons, and I, for one, do not appreciate it. So look at this robot, though. Boston Robotics, those are the people who are at the forefront of robotology. That should be a word. That should be a robotology. I'm coining it. Hey, when I run for college, I'll say that I got my doctorate in robotology. Won the Heisman, flew on 5 shuttle missions, and doctor of robotology. That's why I was an astronaut. Check this out, though, you guys. This is so awesome in a very scary way. This is awesome in like we're all gonna die. Okay, that's how I would put it. Is this awesome? Yeah. Is it eventually going to lead to our demise? Absolutely. No thanks. Okay. So, all right, let me pull this up. Here's the latest. This was released yesterday from Boston Dynamics, who are on the leading edge of all robotic technology and all of that kind of stuff. This is Atlas. You're about to meet Atlas the robot. And this video was released yesterday. And I'm telling you, if you're a Battlestar Galactica fan, you're like, I don't like where this is going, because I know where this is going. All right, here you have it. See, you got a little dude. He's up there. He's a worker man. They're showing you how helpful robots can be. Yes, you in the front row. Hi. So when we replace all the construction workers with robots, what are the construction workers going to do? That's their problem. Maybe they should have gotten an advanced degree in robotology. Yeah, maybe they should have. All right, let's watch this. Check out this robot, who will, by the way, we will bow down to them. Watch this. All right, so.
I forgot my tools again.
All right, that's a human. That's not a robot. There's a robot. There's that Cylon-looking son of a bitch. All right, let's see what we can do. Look, I'm not fully convinced there's not a man in this suit, because this robot is doing things that never. All right. What was that, tool bag? Okay. All right, so the dude forgot his tool bag. A bit clunky, maybe a little bit clunky. Throws the tool bag. All right, you didn't need to be so violent with that. I'll get that away.
Such a show off.
Yeah, oh, that Atlas the robot, such a show off. Bow down to your new masters, ladies and gentlemen, because don't know. What would you say? What are we? 50 years from being dominated by robots? I have no idea. Truthfully, though, that's pretty cool. I don't know. That's some pretty, because if you remember, like we've seen these. Boston Dynamics have been releasing these videos for years now, and I guess they come out like once every year or something. They show their progress. If you remember going back, like the original ones, like from 2010, Boston Dynamics, it was just a robot that was like, like it couldn't seem to do anything, and it was very like janky and Not this guy. This guy did like a backflip twist dismount from the, that's yeah. We have definitely moved forward in robotology, which I don't know if you know this, but I've got my PhD in robotology. From where? The VIT, the Vermont Institute of Technology. Is that a real school? Yeah. All right, moving on. What else do we have here? Oh, speaking of robots, the Brady Bunchen. That's right, the Brady Bunchen. I coined that phrase. I can't believe that we let the entire relationship of Tom Brady and Gisele Bunchen go by without somebody creating the portmanteau of the Brady Bunchen. That just seemed like such a missed opportunity, but I'm doing it now. The Brady Bunchen is making news because Gisele's out. Gisele's out. She's looking good. The divorce is finalized. Oh, really? Is Gisele Bunchen looking good? Okay. Yeah, she is. She's looking good. She's never not looked good. She's Gisele Bunchen. She's one of the world's biggest supermodels. So, yeah. But she is not. Boy, if you think that she is at home on the couch, just lamenting the failure of her marriage, she's not. You know what she's doing? She's running on a beach in like El Salvador or somewhere with her like hot young Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor. Yeah, she's already got a boyfriend. She's got a new boyfriend. She's been seen around with him a bunch of times. And currently she's down there in some tropical island paradise, just running on the beach with some guy who's younger than Tom Brady. That's got to kill him, because Tom Brady's like an age guy, right? He's not. He's like, oh, I'm trying to stay as young as possible. Well, Gisele's got like herself a young little. And here's what's crazy about this. So this dude that Gisele is now like in a relationship with is her jiu-jitsu teacher. And he runs a jiu-jitsu studio in Tampa, which means he's just a dude who's renting a space in a strip mall, and he teaches people how, and all of a sudden he's dating Gisele Bunchen. Here's the other great part about this. It's got to suck for Tom Brady to know that you're Tom Brady, right? You're like, I'm Tom Brady. I'm a man's man. You got, hey, what's that, pal? Hey, I don't want you hugging my kids. You know, whatever nonsense that the normal person would get into, right? You can't do that with this dude. This dude will choke him out in a minute. You know, it's like, what? Oh, what are you going to do, Tom? What are you going to do, Tom? What are you going to? What? I'm trying to think of who's like a really big badass guy that Tom Brady might be able to get. The nose tackle. Who's why can't I think of his name? The Hawaiian nose tackle or the Samoan nose tackle. Mula Mulaka. I was just going to call him Mula Mulakalaka. Okay, we'll call him that. So even if Tom was like, oh yeah, well look at my big giant friend here, Gisele's new boyfriend will be like, okay, come on, Tubby. Let's go, Tubby, Mr. Athlete. Boom, choke him out. He's gone. Tom Brady he can get his ass kicked by Gisele's new boyfriend, which doesn't feel good. Can't feel good. Trust me, I know. Doesn't feel good. So there you go. That's why Brady Bunchen is trending, because there's all kinds of pictures of Gisele Bunchen out there running on the beaches, traveling the world with her strip mall jiu-jitsu teacher. Strip mall. I operate a school in Tampa. Oh, you mean you operate a space out of a strip mall next to a nail salon and a check cashing place? Okay, I got you. You're not exactly. No, it's a school. It's an academy. Okay, it's all right. It's next to two vape shops, but okay, whatever, dude. And he's got Gisele now. He's got Gisele, and you know, there's going to be these moments where the handoff of the kid, and there's going to be like the stare down between Tom Brady and the jiu-jitsu champion. And he's a champion too. He's very decorated. I've never heard of him, But that's because he never fought MMA. He just competes in jiu-jitsu tournaments. Byron Leftwich, speaking of Tampa, speaking of Tom Brady, Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, has been fired. It's not crazy. I mean, anybody who watched Tampa's offense against the Cowboys, it's like, woo, were they even trying? I think it's more Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is done. I think that he looked done. I'm not going to blame it on Byron Leftwich. And here's what's so fascinating about this. A year ago, Byron Leftwich was like the hot candidate to be a head coach. Oh, he's terrific. He's one of the best offensive coordinators in football. Somebody's going to give Byron Leftwich a job, and he's going to win multiple Super Bowl. Now he's fired. 1 year later. What happened? I hate football expertise. I hate people who claim to be football experts. It's just so irritating. You know why? Here's why. Okay. At this stage of the world in 2023, you, Mr. Football hot take artist that you listen to on the radio, that this is how it is because I know. And I know because I'm the one on the microphone. Dude, we all watch the games. If my 13-year-old kid has some of the best football hot takes going, and he's just a 13-year-old kid because he watches the game. We all watch the game. We all read the same news articles. We all get the same information. There's no secret. I mean, unless you're like Adam Schefter or Jay Glazer, there is no real secret gossip that you're going to be breaking. We all know the same thing. So every time that somebody's like, Byron Leftwich is the greatest quarterback coach. He's the greatest quarterback mentor. What are you talking about? He was a mid quarterback in his own career. He had Tom Brady. He didn't shape Tom Brady. Anyway, 1 year ago, Byron Leftwich is a genius. And then now he's fired. So there you go. You know what else? I was thinking about this because I'm watching a lot of draft stuff. Yeah, that's right. Every day I read through about 10 mock drafts just to see the way the experts seem to think this is all going to fall. And it's amazing. It's amazing the shit that people say. Bryce Young is can't miss. And then everybody else, and then there's other people. Bryce Young is going to be a bust. He's too small. Do you know what? Here's a little fun fact. Do you know what the experts, let's talk about some of the great quarterbacks throughout time in the NFL. And let's talk about what they said about him. Joe Montana coming out of college, coming out of Notre Dame was not going to be a successful NFL quarterback. You know why? He was too small. He didn't think fast enough, and he was prone to injury. So pass on Joe Montana in the draft. And people did. Because the experts. And then Joe Montana arguably is the second greatest quarterback of all time. What else did they say? Oh, John Elway. John Elway was a good one. John Elway has too strong of an arm. John Elway is not fleet of foot enough. He's a good scrambler, but once he gets to the edge, he has too strong of an arm and he can't create plays on the run. John Elway will overthrow, or John Elway will never develop touch. John Elway. Those were the rips on John Elway. Peyton Manning didn't have a strong enough arm. Peyton Manning was all hype, not a strong enough arm, and we wouldn't even be looking at him if he wasn't Archie Manning's son. That was the rap on Peyton Manning. Who else? Who else do we have here? Patrick Mahomes. But Tom Brady was a 5th-round draft pick. The experts, the GOAT, Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback in the history of the game. I begrudgingly will say that. I'm not going to argue anybody when they say that. I mean, stats are stats. Can't fight that. Tom Brady was a 5th-round draft pick. Who went first that year? Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf can't miss. Todd Couch. Was that the Todd Couch year? I don't know. But anyway, football experts. It drive me insane. We all watch the games. We all process the information in our own way. And whether or not we're able to articulate what it is that we've said is based more upon our ability to articulate than it is any special knowledge we have of what we've all just collectively seen together. It's like movie critics. It's another thing, movie critics. Well, I'm not going to see that because this critic said this about it. Well, you can't watch a movie on your own? You can't watch a movie and decide for yourself if you like this movie. You've got to let some nerd who watches movies for a living tell you whether or not you should watch. It's a nice rule of thumb, but you certainly should never go, it's a bad movie because Roger Ebert said it was a bad movie. Roger Ebert trashed E.T. When E.T. came out, Roger Ebert, look, I like Roger Ebert, but real life Roger Ebert was kind of a dick. Real life Roger Ebert was kind of an a-hole. Roger Ebert yelled at me on the phone once and blamed me for something that I had nothing to do with. I was just a producer of a morning show. The night show at our radio station did this bit where they went to celebrities who lived in Chicago's homes and stole their garbage and then would go through their garbage on the air. And they did that the overnight show. Liz Wilde. You guys remember Liz Wilde? Liz Wilde was here in Dallas for a cup of coffee. She was at Live 105.3 with us. So Liz Wilde did this bit. And honestly, I think it was Sam the mailman. I think Sam, who we also all know, but I don't know if you guys know this. I worked with them in Chicago at a station too. And then we came to Dallas, and then like a couple of years later, they showed up. And we're like, hey! I think it was Sam the mailman who did this. Or maybe it was Sly. Sly was a guy that was on the Liz Wilde show back then. I think Sly was Liz's boyfriend. Maybe, I'm not sure. But Sly didn't make it to Dallas. But anyway, they went through Roger Ebert's garbage, and they did a whole bit on it. Oh, look, Roger Ebert's old coffee-stained TV guides, or whatever. So the next morning, Roger Ebert found out about it, and he decided to call the morning show, which we had a fairly good relationship with Roger over the years. And I pick up the phone in the studio, the hotline. And you always pick up the hotline because only important people have the hotline. And the guy answers the phone. This is Roger Ebert. Who's this? Oh, hi, Mr. Ebert. This is Pugs with the Kevin Matthews Show. You ever steal my garbage again? I am calling the police. My lawyer is telling me that I need... And I'm like, wait, what? What? I didn't even know about the bit from the night before. I just didn't get it. And my host, Kevin Matthews, goes, he's looking at me. And this other guy who was my partner, or not my partner, my boss, he was the executive producer. His name was Doc. And Doc is like sitting next to me in the booth. You have to understand, there's a glass pane that separates the producer booth from the on-air studio. So I'm on the phone just getting reamed by Roger Ebert, and I'm like, what is going on here? And Doc is looking scared shitless. So my host goes, what's going on? What's going on? What's happening? And Doc's like, I think Roger Ebert is yelling at Pugs on the phone. So he said, well, put him on. Let's talk to Roger. So I'm like, oh, hold on. So I put Roger Ebert on hold. And then when Kevin, my host, picked it up, Roger Ebert hung up. But he's kind of a dick. Roger Ebert was kind of a dick. Anyway, don't not watch a movie because some so-called movie watching expert. We're all movie watching experts. We all like what we like. Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy is trending. Do we like Fall Out Boy? They're okay, right? I mean... So here's my problem with Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy are a bunch of rich kids. They're a bunch of rich kids. They're from Wilmette. Pete Wentz's dad was like Joe Biden's personal attorney, right? I mean, it's like they grew a great punk rock antisocial band from Wilmette, Illinois. Wilmette is like South Lake. Wilmette is like Highland Park here in Dallas. Wilmette is on the Gold Coast. No, is that the Gold Coast? That's not the Gold Coast. Wilmette is on Lake Michigan. Beautiful mansions. I think Risky Business was in Wilmette. I don't know, whatever. Bunch of movies have been filmed there. It is absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful mansions, that whole thing. And then Fall Out Boy. They're like faux punk. They're like new punk. No, they're not. They're a bunch of millionaire rich kids who went to day schools. Anyway, Fall Out Boy is trending because apparently their guitar player Joe Troman, he's leaving the band. He's leaving the band citing deteriorating mental health conditions. Just can't take it anymore. And good for him. Good for him. Take care of yourself there, Joe. Oh, by the way, not all the members of Fall Out Boy are rich. I know that like one of them's from Evanston, which has some really nice areas, but also has some sketchy areas. But whatever. whatever. But most of them, like Fall Out Boy is a rock band, a punk band. Oh, they're punk, they're new punk, they're skate punk, whatever they were, whatever categories they wanted to put themselves in when they came up. As soon as I went, oh, they're from Chicago? Oh, are they from Chicago? No, they're not actually from Chicago. Oh, really? Where are they from? They're from Wilmette. I was like, oh, oh, antisocial ideas about, the punk rock attitude coming out of Wilmette. Okay, whatever, that's fine. They got some catchy songs. I'll sing along to a full Fall Out Boy song every now and again, but bunch of rich kids. Carol Baskin. Carol Baskin is trending. Do you remember her? Remember Carol Baskin? Carol Baskin from the Tiger King. I mean, he was a queen. Tiger King. Joe Exotic. I think, right? That was him. You know what? That whole Tiger King series, it's like a part of my COVID haze. Like, I think I binged that series in the early days of COVID, and like much from that era, I don't remember a lot. The days all bled together. It was just like one long afternoon for like 2 years, right? Where it was just, well, actually, I'm overstating it. But for the first like month or 2 months, it sucked. It sucked. And that's when we all watched Tiger King. And I guess Carol Baskin was portrayed, if we're saying that Tiger King was from the perspective of Joe Exotic, even though it wasn't. It was we were peeking through the blinds at these crazy people. But the hero of the story would be Joe Exotic. So the antithesis to that, the enemy was Carol Baskin. Remember Carol Baskin? Whatever. I don't even remember the ins and outs. But here's what I do remember. Carol Baskin was being accused by Joe Exotic of murdering her first husband, and we were all led to believe that she fed her first husband to her tigers. Like, Carol Baskin also had a tiger. That's what it was, right? She was a competing tiger person, which I don't know why people who are into tigers need to compete with one another. I would think that they would want to share information, and it's a very small group, but whatever. So Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin, they hated each other. Joe Exotic said that Carol Baskin murdered her first husband and fed him to the tigers. And what else happened there? Well, the truth is that Carol Baskin's husband skipped town. He just left. He'd been missing since like the 1980s. And so the stories went, well, she fed him to the tigers, and he was never found. So yesterday it started to trend, Carol Baskin's husband found alive in Costa Rica. And that was a big story, and everybody's like, Carol Baskin's husband's alive. She didn't kill him. Well, guess what? That's not true. That's not true. That was just a rumor that was filing. Here's the story as we have it today, because yesterday everybody was going, Carol Baskin's husband's alive. Carol Baskin, no evidence first husband is still alive, despite a recently resurfaced report. The feds finding Carol Baskin's first husband alive is all the buzz on the internet, but that would be news to local authorities, who said that they haven't heard from the feds and still consider Don Lewis missing. Here's the deal. Twitter users started chirping Wednesday when a lot of them discovered, for the first time apparently, a 2021 interview with Carol about an alleged report from the Department of Homeland Security stating that they'd found Lewis living in Costa Rica. The purported DHS report came to light during the second season of Tiger King. A second season? Nah, no interest. I pass. I saw enough. I get it. Crazy, fun. We all talked about it. We all goofed on them. I don't need more of that. Okay, so you understand what's happening? So like a year ago or 2 years ago now at this point, she gave an interview, and she just said in the interview, she said, the Department of Homeland Security told me that they had found my husband because everybody was saying, you murdered your husband and fed him to the lions. And so in an interview, she said, they found him. The Department of Homeland Security says so. So again, this was 2 years ago that she said this in this interview. For some reason, yesterday, that interview resurfaced where people were like, they found Carol Baskin's husband. And so it was going around. But it's not true. She just said that. She just made it up. She was just in an interview, and she was kind of feeling bad that everybody was saying that she killed her husband, and she'd been accused of that. So she just lied to a reporter, which is all the rage these days. Just lie. Say what you need to say to get out of the moment. Survive. Just survive the moment. And if a lie gets you there, apparently that's what we're doing now. So bottom line, Don Lewis, Carol Baskin's first husband, is still officially listed as missing, as just having never come back. Can you blame him, though? I mean, seriously, as I recall, that woman was goofy. That woman was, and that's a good word, goofy. That's a good word to describe her, because I don't know how dangerous she is. I mean, she's got tigers. Okay, she's dangerous. Okay, so goofy is maybe not the fun, frivolous way to sort of describe her personality. I don't know, whatever. She's a weirdo. Carol Baskin, her husband is still missing and unaccounted for regardless, or despite what she said in an interview 2 years ago that then resurfaced yesterday and everybody acted like it was new. This is new. No, it's not. It's 2 years ago, and the DHS has said that that's the lie, that that's not true. We haven't found him in Costa Rica. Here's a nice one. This is something that I enjoy. Ted Lasso is trending. Ted Lasso. Let me just tell you. Hey, do I got any lass asses? That's not going to work. Lasso assholes. What should we call ourselves? I don't know. And don't even. My people who know me know that I have been on the Ted Lasso bandwagon since day one. Look, I know that it wins all the awards and it sweeps, and now everybody loves Ted Lasso. But I got to be honest with you. I spent a year going, you guys should watch Ted Lasso. You guys should watch Ted Lasso. It's really good, man. It's a totally different kind of thing. It's just it's a very good watch. You feel good about yourself. You laugh. It's funny. The characters are likable. But really, at the end of every episode, you kind of feel better. You kind of feel better about the world. And that's kind of my pitch. And everybody's like, I've never heard of it. What's it on? It's on Apple. No, I don't have Apple. Is it good enough for me to get Apple? And I'd be like, yeah, it actually is. It's good enough for you to get Apple. All right, I'm not going to get Apple, though, because I don't like soccer. It's not about soccer. It is not about soccer. Anyway, that's right. I'm going to call myself the Christopher Columbus of Ted Lasso, because I believe that I was on that show before just about anybody else, and those close to me in my life, they'll be like, yeah, he was. No, he legitimately was. Nobody had ever heard of it before, and then suddenly I'm talking about it. I mean, in my personal universe, I'm in the people that I know and that I rub up against and all that stuff. Certainly not on a global scale, right? I'm not the BBC. I'm not. Here, I want to show you this. So Ted Lasso season 3 is coming out. Can we make this bigger? Does this get bigger? It doesn't get bigger. And I'm not going to spoil anything. Although, honestly, it feels like it's been 2 years since season 2 ended. We've been waiting for season 3 of Ted Lasso now for ever. And if you're not caught up, you know what? This might be a spoiler. Wait a second. It can't be a spoiler. It can't be a spoiler because Ted Lasso, the production company themselves, have released this. There is no trailer. There is a release date. 5 months. I think they're saying in May, the new season of Ted Lasso will begin airing on Apple. But okay, so I shouldn't feel bad. Again, I shouldn't feel bad. I'm not breaking anything. This was put out by the people from Ted Lasso. This is just a little teaser photo that they released yesterday, and everybody kind of went nuts. Okay, show you the teaser photo. I'll tell you, I saw the teaser photo, and I went a little nuts. I was like, F you, Nate. Oh, I hate you, Nate. Look at that. That's just a picture. They're like, season 3 is coming. Now, for those of you who don't know, that's Ted Lasso on the right, as portrayed by Jason Sudeikis. And on the left, that little evil-looking weaselly worm, that's Nate. Nate, this whole season 3 is going to be about Ted Lasso versus Nate. Who is Nate? Nate was the ball boy of the team that Ted Lasso went to coach. Nate was lovely. This is why I'm so mad. Because Nate was like everybody's favorite character. Nate was like the perfect human being. He was simple. He was kind. He was competent. He was. Everybody crapped on him because he was kind of low man on the team. Like he wasn't on the team, but he was like the equipment manager and the groundskeeper and all that. So he kind of was the butt of everybody's jokes. And then suddenly he began to change in season 2. He started to be elevated. He started getting a higher position within the organization that they play for. And then at the end of last season, it is revealed that Nate has been named the new Man United. Was it Man United or Man City? I don't know. But whatever, one of the big soccer clubs. Nate took a heel turn in season 2, and now he is the arch rival of Coach Ted Lasso. He is a coach in his own right. Look at him. He's wearing the black suit. He's got the black tie. And this is the picture that they released to hype the new season of Ted Lasso. I got chills right now talking about it because I'm so emotionally conflicted. My son, too. My son is allowed to use the F word only if it's followed by Nate. Like, he's allowed to say Nate because we love the show and we can't believe that Nate turned into a bad guy. Nate was like the greatest guy, and now he's like a bad guy. Anyway, very excited about this, the coming season 3 of Ted Lasso. All right, I'm pretty much out of stuff to talk about here today. We've done a good solid 2 hours. I did want to mention something that's not trending, but wanted to ask you guys if you're familiar with this. Do you think, Al says, do you think that Jason Sudeikis and Bill Hader are interchangeable as characters? They have the same quality of comedy to me. I do not. I think that they are both awesome, and I think that they are both completely unique. I think that they have different skill sets, but I think that they are different. I see Leslie says, no, Hader is funnier. Yeah, I don't know how you say that. I don't know how you say that. Jason Sudeikis is pretty funny. Bill Hader is Bill Hader's not fun. I love Bill Hader. Documentary Now is, I think, one of the 5 greatest television shows that has ever been on TV. Certainly one of the most unique, certainly one of the most original. Documentary Now, if you haven't seen it, I think it's on Hulu or Netflix or whatever, but it's so great. Hader's not funny in Barry. You know, I mean, Hader could be a dramatic actor. Hader's very funny. Don't get me wrong. Stefan, they're both brilliant on Saturday Night Live, but so is Sudeikis, you know? So I don't know. I would certainly not consider, I don't agree with you there, Al. I do not think that Hader and Sudeikis are the same kinds. You know who Sudeikis is? Who is Sudeikis? You know what? I don't know. Doesn't matter. We don't need to get into it. But I do want to talk about something else that I watched last night. And I stayed up late because I'm watching Vikings Valhalla. And when Vikings Valhalla, when the season ended, it rolls into whatever's next. You know, it says, in 15 seconds, this is starting. And whatever was rolled up into next, I started to watch at like 12:30 last night. And I started watching the first 10 minutes of it. Just, I don't know, I was laying in bed, probably just too lazy to change anything. And I started watching this thing on Netflix last night, and I got 10 minutes into it, and I looked at the clock, and I went, I'm going to be up to 2 o'clock, aren't I? I go, I'm going to end up watching this whole damn thing, aren't I? It's a new documentary on Netflix. It's not new. I mean, it's new within the last couple of weeks, but it didn't like just post yesterday. I've been looking at it. I've seen it. As I scroll through Netflix, I've seen it and I've gone, okay, that looks kind of interesting. But anyway, I watched it last night. 90-minute documentary on Netflix. It's great. It's great. It is so good. So guys, if you have the Netflix, and who doesn't, check out The Hatchet-Wielding Hitchhiker. Have you seen this? The Hatchet-Wielding Hitchhiker on it's a documentary about a real story, about a real news story. A guy who I remember, and you probably do as well. Here's the situation. So like 2013 or something like that, and I believe it was in Fresno, California. It's a news story. Fresno, California. Some crazy dude drove into a PG&E, which is the California Power Company. They were doing some work on the side of the road. You know, the power trucks are out there. Some crazy dude in a car drove right into the back purposely of a PG&E truck, pinning one of the PG&E workers underneath the car. I mean, like murderous kind of stuff. Just drove straight into him intentionally. The dude who did that was apparently going through some kind of a schizophrenic psychotic episode. He was screaming about how he's Jesus, and part of his job now as Jesus is he has to eradicate all black people from the face of the earth. So that's why he ran over the PG&E worker and pinned him under the truck. Just driving down the road, I'm going to pin this. And so that's a car accident occurs. People come running out and not knowing that it was an intentional thing. They just thought it was a car accident. So people come running out and they go to the driver of the car and they're trying to make sure that he's okay. So the driver of the car who just did this comes out of the car. He's 6'4", 300 pounds, and he's psychotic. I am Jesus. He grabs this woman who ran up to see if he was okay. And he starts bear hugging her like he's going to snap her neck, like he's going crazy. Enter Kai, the hitchhiker. Enter Kai, the hatchet-wielding hitchhiker. Crazy dude had picked up a hitchhiker. The hitchhiker was Kai. Kai's in the passenger seat. He's just been in a car accident. He just saw this guy run straight into this guy, and now now the guy is out of the car, and he's beating up some woman citizen who just came to the car to see if he was all right. He's beating her up. Kai jumps out of the passenger seat, runs around, pulls a hatchet out of his backpack, because he's a hitchhiker, dude. Pulls a hatchet and just starts, in the immortal words of Kai, smash, smash, smash on the head of this guy. It didn't kill him, but, just basically saved the woman's life. And everybody's like, oh, what a heroic hitchhiker. And so one of the first news crews on the scene, they interviewed him because everybody's like, you got to talk to that homeless guy there. You got to talk to him. He saved that woman's life. She was being beaten up by this crazy person, and he just pulled a hatchet out and fought him back and saved her life. So he gets interviewed by the local news crew, and the interview goes viral. Now, again, this is back in 2013, and I know Kai. I know Kai from this. I remember Kai the hitchhiker. It was a thing. We all saw it. In these memes, he's all over memes, like he's the smash, smash, smash. So I want to show you, they've made a documentary about Kai, the hatchet-wielding hitchhiker, on Netflix, and they're telling his story of how he... I'm not going to ruin anything. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But Kai, the hero of that moment, is now doing life in prison. And that's the story. How did he go from being this hero to being a guy? Oh, and it is a crazy story. But here, this is, I found this and I wanted to show this to you. This is Kai, the hatchet-wielding hitchhiker. And this is the interview that he gave moments after he defended this woman. So this is the interview that made him go viral, that turned him into a star. He did the Jimmy Kimmel show. The producers of the Kardashians wanted to sign him to a deal where they would make a reality show about his life. All of this shit. So this is moments after that happened. I want to show you the interview, just because this is why everybody saw this guy and went, holy shit, we need to make him a star. This is him. This is Kai, the heroic hatchet-wielding hitchhiker, from the news moments after he did what he did.
I'm one of the heroes.
Yeah. Can we talk to you? Do you mind?
What do you want to talk about?
What happened today?
Well, went straight out of Dogtown, skateboarding, surfing it up. Before I say anything else, I want to say no matter what you've done, you deserve respect. Even if you make mistakes, you're lovable. And it doesn't matter your look, skills, or age, or size, or anything, you're worthwhile. No one could ever take that away from you. Now, this stuff right here, I was driving and I was in the passenger side of this f***er's car, and he comes over on there. He was over by the recycling center. He says, oh, when I was in the Virgin Islands, 30 years old on a business trip, I this 14-year-old. I was like, you what? He's like, I raped this 14-year-old, starts crying, gives me a big hug. He's just like 300-pound guy. I'm like, oh, shit. You must be f***ed, man. Like, what's he talking about? I didn't take him seriously at first. He comes driving down this way. He's like, you know what? I come to realize I'm Jesus Christ, and I can do anything I f***ing want to. And watch this. Bam! And he smashed into this f***ing guy right there. Pinned him in between that f***ing truck. And so I hop out. I look over, the guy's pinned there. I mean, like, freight train riders know this. Like, if you get pinned between something, do not f***ing move that shit. Otherwise, you bleed out. Like, motherfucker, I ran in, I grabbed the keys, he's f***ing sitting there like nothing even happened. And like, f***ing, like, man, if you started driving that car around again, man, there would have been a hell of a lot of bodies around here. F***ing, I hop on out, and so I grabbed the bag, I threw it over by that pole right there, and then buddy gets out and these two women are trying to help him. He runs up and he grabs one of them, man. The guy that big can snap a woman's neck like a pencil stick. So I ran up behind him with a hatchet, smash, smash, smash. Yeah.
The lady said you saved her life.
She was the one who got grabbed by that fucker. You know what? Is cool. That guy ain't. Shit.
How'd you get in his car? How did you?
I was hitchhiking. Good thing I was hitchhiking. Yeah, people say don't hitchhike. Well, this is what happens. Well, at least I was here.
So he did this on purpose.
Dude, that guy was fucking cooked out, man. Like, he's beyond Howley. Like, I don't even see any breath in him. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Can I get your name and where you're from, if you don't mind?
I'm Kai.
Kai? Can I get spelling for you?
Straight out of Dogtown. K-A-I.
K-A-I. Do you have a last name?
No, bro. I don't have anything.
Where are you from originally? Are you from Fresno area?
Sophia, West Virginia.
Not true. He's from Edmonton, Canada.
How old are you?
I can't call it.
Okay. What? Have you ever experienced anything like today? And what made you take?
But hear that? You asked him how old he is.
How old are you?
I can't call it.
I don't know how old he is.
What? Have you ever experienced anything like today? And what made you take the actions that you did?
That woman was in danger. He just finished what looked like at the time killing somebody, and if I hadn't have done that, he would have killed more people. So he's dead. Good.
You ever experienced anything like
Except he's not dead. He's not dead. He had superficial wounds. He was knocked unconscious. But I guess at this point, Kai, the hatchet-wielding hitchhiker, thought the guy might be dead. But he's not. He survived.
that? Kai?
Well, this one time I was in an orchard, and this
Oh, wait, here. Oh,
You ever experienced anything?
have you ever experienced anything
So,
like this before?
he's dead. Good.
You ever experienced anything like that, Kai?
Well, this one time I was in an orchard, and this guy starts beating on this woman who he calls his. So I walked on over and I started smashing him in the head. You see all these teeth marks right here for the camera? Yeah, I started smashing him in the head and in the teeth, busted out all his teeth. The sheriffs, not the policy enforcers, show up and start they're like, yeah, so what happened? I mean, like, just give me any old name and just give me old birthday, whatever, just, yeah.
What happened today after you're obviously free now, but were you arrested? What was the process? What did they do to you when they came out? Obviously, they found out that you did the right thing, but the time that from the accident until now, where have you been?
Well, he started following I cleaned his motherfucking head wide open with a hatchet. He stood up like he was pulled right up, right? And like, I'm like, bro, if you're fucking Jesus Christ, I'll be the Antichrist, man. Like, that. And he starts following me off this way, so I figure I'll lure him away from the crowd. So I'm running off this way. I got a hatchet in one hand, this bag I'm carrying over with another hand. I start running off that way, and so a couple of the people who was bystanders to it came over and told me to stop. And I was like, why stop? And he was like, the cops are already on their way. I was like, is he back up and doing anything? And somebody said that he was like masturbating in front of this school or whatever this place is right here.
Okay. All right, we don't need to play the whole thing. But there you go. You get an idea for Kai, the hatchet-wielding hitchhiker. So here's what happened in the days following this interview. This interview went viral. People fell in love with Kai. Kai, oh my God, he's such a wonderful person. We love Kai. Hollywood went, we can make money off Kai. Let's get Kai to Hollywood. And they bring him down. He gets an agent. He gets a production deal. He goes on the Jimmy Kimmel show a couple of times. He's doing all of this stuff. And then very shortly, I won't give away the whole plot, but that was not what Kai was built for. Kai was not built to show up on set on time. Kai was not built to work well with other people. Kai, now I don't know if you've deduced this yet, Kai has some mental issues of his own. You got to see the documentary. That's all I'm telling you. This documentary on Netflix, it tells you everything that happened after that. After the world fell in love with Kai, the heroic, everybody deserves love no matter what you've done. Everybody fell in love with that. And then this documentary takes us on the next 3 months. That's right. It's only 3 months. It's a condensed 3 months of his life. And I will end with this. Kai is currently doing life in prison. 3 months from that to a guy who is now currently doing life in prison. And the story in between is an incredible It's an incredible ride. It's nuts. Anyway, highly recommend that. Like I said, I stayed up super late last night. I had no intention of watching it. It was just the first 10 minutes of it really hooked me. And I'm like, oh, I got to see where this goes. This is going to be a thrill ride. This is going to be wild. So there you have it. It's the hatchet-wielding hitchhiker. If you passed by it on Netflix and thought, not for me, I'd say check it out. It's pretty fun. It's, fun. Yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it because it's not me, because that's not me. But it's, I guess some people might go, well, that's just sad. That guy's just a sad. Just go with it. Just try to enjoy it. All right, let's see. Let's jump on Twitter, shall we, just for a moment and see if there's anything new that's been trending, something that's popping off since we started doing this show 2 hours ago. All right, we've got Justice Alito is trending. Why is he trending? Okay. I don't care. All right, that's some political nonsense. What else do we have here? Jared Leto is trending. Why is Jared Leto trending on Twitter? You know what? I hate doing this. I hate Twitter. I hate Twitter in the trends because if there is a reason for someone to be trending, unless it's like a super obvious one, like they died, then every tweet will be, oh, rest in peace, rest in peace. So you can pretty much figure out quickly why this person is trending. But other people, things or individuals, they start to trend, and they trend for a very real reason. But then over the course of that story trending, people start posting about other things. Well, but his favorite movie was. So then when you try and figure out why this person is trending, you just have to sift through endless. A great example was Lisa Marie Presley. Lisa Marie Presley, the other day at the end of the show, I saw that Lisa Marie Presley was trending. And I clicked on it and I said, I don't know why. Let's see if we can figure out why Lisa Marie Presley is trending. And then there was just like 100 videos of her at the Golden Globes talking about how much she likes Austin Butler. And I'm like, okay, it's nothing. It's no real reason. There's no real reason why she's trending. It's just because somebody got it trending. And then I looked at the chat room, and Byron, who had more time and than me, apparently, he was able to see the real reason, was because she had a massive heart attack. And I'm like, ugh. You would think that would be the lead, right? That would be why she's, hey, Elon Musk, that's a good thing. How about in trends? How about every time something trends, maybe in parentheses, there is a small description of why this person is trending? Because it's really hard to determine that when you're, right, Jared Leto's trending. I don't know. Is he alive or dead? I have no idea. We don't have time for that. Let's see, Daft Punk is trending. Captain Kangaroo is trending. Byron Leftwich is trending. We talked about that. Byron Leftwich has been fired as offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I almost just called them the Tampa Bay Bandits. That's right. USFL for life, baby. And not this new USFL. I'm talking about the legit USFL. The one that Trump ruined. He did. He ruined it. I'd still be a USFL fan today if it wasn't for that. No, look, that's not me hating on Trump. This is me hating on Trump for something that he did in 1984, right? This isn't like, I'm not getting political here. Trump destroyed the USFL. He did it intentionally. But there's a great 30 for 30 documentary called Who Killed the USFL? And it's sort of a rhetorical question because Donald Trump killed the USFL. He took his ball and went home and was a big baby about it. And then, what else do we have? Dart. Why is Dart trending? Is Dart trending as in Dallas Area Rapid Transit, or is this Dart something else? No. Sheriff Tom Dart of Cook County testified in support of protected communities. I don't care. I don't give a damn about any of that stuff. All right, guys, hold on. I'll do one more thing. Let me look at Google Trends. See if there's anything new that's making big news under Google Trends. No, nothing. Baldwin. Ooh, that story's blowing up. Oh, they're dropping the hammer on Alec Baldwin. Vince McMahon, this is a new one that we didn't see earlier. Vince McMahon is paid millions of dollars to rape accusers. 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 Just whatever you do, try to get through life without having a single rape that you're accused of. But my God, multiple rapes you've been accused of? Accusers, plural. Let's see here. I mean, one time is he said, she said, and you have to like hear both sides of the stories and weigh them and all that kind of stuff. Multiple times, when you start getting into like Cosby territory, it's like, okay, all right. Let's see, what else do we have? Johnson & Johnson. That's it. There's nothing else happening. All right, guys, we're going to be back tonight at 9 o'clock. We'll be doing our Pugs and Parker Pillow Talk edition, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's kind of like this. Current events still. We still do like the whole current events thing, but it's more, hold on. Where's my theme song? Hold on. Seriously, are you telling me that I can, oh my God, did Spotify drop John Hinckley? Is John Hinckley no longer on Spotify? What are we going to do for our closing theme? John Hinckley couldn't find? Huh. You guys, I can't find John Hinckley anymore. Wow. I wonder what happened here. Did John Hinckley pull all of his music off of Spotify? What are we going to do? This is some breaking news. Some big breaking news. All right. Well, here, I'll just do it this way. Hold on. Fine, Spotify. I know that YouTube still has it. No. Okay. It's not going to be the same. You guys, this sucks. Hold on. Why is John Hinckley no longer available on Spotify? Oh, and now he's back. All right. I searched the name. Maybe it's just Spotify's being a little bit buggy. All right, there you go. I searched John Hink. I always have it at the ready. But earlier I played Robert Palmer, Simply Irresistible. So I had gone off the John Hinckley page, and then when I went back to the John Hinckley page, it was saying this artist is not available or whatever. And then I refreshed it again, and it said the same thing. And then I panicked. You heard me. We panicked together. And I did it a third time, and it was back. It popped back up. All right. Tonight, 9 o'clock, Pugs and Parker Pillow Talk. Every Monday through Thursday, James Parker and me get together. And we chop it up. We suss it out. Tip the show if you can. The show for the next few weeks is running on donations. So if you can drop a little something in the tip bucket, that would be greatly appreciated. Treat me like your bartender. Treat me like your car valet. Treat me like your pizza delivery guy. Treat me like I'm your waitress. Whatever you do, and you drop a little something, we'd appreciate it. Venmo and Cash App, those are listed right there at the bottom of the screen. I think we're going to do the Censored 11 cartoons today at 9 with Parker. The Censored 11 cartoons are 11 Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes cartoons that have been banned from American television. They're pretty edgy. I don't know. We'll look at some of them. And no more car chases. Yesterday we spent the better part of the whole hour watching a car chase in Los Angeles. Further review, I wish we hadn't spent so much time on that, but it's all right. Everything can't be perfect. You guys good? We feel like we're all prepped up? Y'all ready to join me back here again tomorrow? I'll get y'all prepped up on whatever's happening tomorrow. Yeah? All right. Well, welcome to it. This has been January the 19th, 2023. I'm Pugs Moran on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Bye, everybody. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.